I'm clapping for you. It's the Film Sharks podcast.
Woo!
That's kind of.
My
fingers are tingly. Talking about. I'm not out of breath. It just kind of.
I'm out of shape.
Boy, I'm out of shape. It's the Film Sharks podcast. We talk about. What do we talk about? Movies?
Anything we want now.
TV shows?
Star Wars.
Sometimes games.
So much Star Wars. We can't shut up about Star Wars.
We talk about Disney.
That's all we talk about.
And we don't even get paid for it. Should we like bill Disney?
Yep. Here you go. Pass the check.
So I've talked to you up about 60 hours now this past week. So
I wouldn't doubt that we've talked about them that
probably
long.
more than well. I don't know.
Probably even more because you think about it, how many episodes we talk about either Marvel or Star Wars. It's just like
we talk about DC sometimes. Sometimes.
We choose not to talk about them that much for a reason.
Well, anyway, yeah, talk about whatever we want. What's a podcast that's better than celery? But like on a lot. But like, you ever have the ants on a lot? I like celery. Okay, I mean I don't love it, but
might be my least favorite.
It's tasty because
it's got
celery.
Nothing.
Exactly,
It's nothing.
Jesse. Celery
takes more calories.
It takes more calories to burn
than to eat it.
Yeah, it takes more calories to burn celery than it does to digest it.
Okay, I was wrong. It's not the worst vegetable.
It's pretty good.
That goes to beets.
Beets are
awful. They can beat it.
Beets, Battlestar Galactica.
They can beat it.
Just make like Michael Jackson and
beat it.
Die. Oh,
whoa!
It's fine. It's been 10 years.
What were you really? Did you not get the beat it thing?
I was gonna do.
I'm like beat it.
I did.
You're like, oh yeah.
I wanted to subvert your expectations, Jesse. Plus, I thought it would be funnier to be like you're thinking, oh, he's gonna say beat it,
Die.
but then you say make like Michael Jackson,
molest children.
No. Well,
allegedly.
Family show. Family.
Allegedly.
Family. Yeah, you guys gotta say that too. Who knows, Jesse? I sure hope it's only alleged. Moving on. Hey, Jesse. Actually, we got 2 trailers to talk about. I forgot about.
Oh.
You forgot about them too.
Oh, nuts.
Birds of Prey and New Mutants. And who knew New Mutants?
Oh,
hey, well, hold on. We'll get to them.
I know.
Let's talk about Ricky first. But I was just gonna throw those out there.
Ricky?
But yeah.
But
stop it. We're never gonna get through this. The Golden Globes were like, I don't know, a couple days ago. When were they?
Did anyone watch it?
I didn't watch them.
Exactly.
I just looked up who won and what won, and
I agreed with some of them. One of them in particular.
I agreed with some of them.
Oh yes.
But I think I agreed with Ricky Gervais more. Not everybody. It's controversial. Ricky Gervais's monologue. He's so
might be the best.
He's a good
host.
Man. He's a good host.
I can't think of a better host
this year in particular because he did do, and I think because he was like, it's the 5th year, I don't even care anymore, and he said it several times, and it's kind of like a bit, but I feel like he actually meant it for a lot of it. Did you watch any of the in between?
No, not really.
When they go on commercial and they come back and he's like, we're back, and he's like, we're back, and he's like, but he's actually, it really seems like he's just really just done.
I mean, he got a paycheck. That's all I would see it as.
Well, yeah.
After 5 years, I'd be like,
I think he's really
money.
If you've ever watched any of his stand-up stuff, I think Ricky Gervais, for whatever reason, I think Ricky Gervais is very funny.
He's very funny, but
the way his style is really funny.
Yes,
I think. But
I saw him do a sit down with Jerry Seinfeld. I can't remember who else. Chris Rock and the guy who got canceled. What's his name? Louis C.K.
Okay.
They sat down and they were talking about just comedy and stuff. And he's like, I feel like I might.
Do it in his accent, though.
Oh, no. I'll offend people. I'm not good at accents.
We can't offend white British people, can we? I mean, we're allowed to make fun of white British people.
I wish I had a British accent. That'd be the accent I'd choose.
Is that the one you choose?
Probably.
That's a pretty good one.
Either that or Australian. Those are the coolest ones.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to be a Kiwi?
Nah.
No New Zealand accent.
Not screw them. I'm just kidding. Yeah, if anyone
We have
screw
nobody
them,
listening in New Zealand, right?
probably not. Anyway,
Doesn't matter.
he said something about how he's like, if you do your work more than once, it just feels like you're a hack. Because he feels like he has to have new material every single time he does something.
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. I guess I would feel that way, sort of, because
It feels hacky.
I would feel weird to go to each show. I mean, like, it's one thing to have a bit and like it's exactly the same and you just don't change it at all. But like if you get to it in different ways or you like change things up a little bit, as long as you do it slightly different, you know what I'm saying? Like keep it a little bit fresh. I think that's the way to go. So, but yeah, I can see what he's saying. Like I would feel weird doing the same thing over and over again because it would just kind of start to get a little just too rehearsed.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't. But anyway, Ricky Gervais had a lot to. He kind of just. Well, we'll watch it, but I just liked what he had to say. And then the best parts are the people's reaction. I think you need to run it back.
All the way back?
Yeah, might as well. We can just pause it and talk about it. First of all, who's this? Is this NBC?
Yeah.
Listen, this is for critique purposes only.
NBC. There's people reacting to it. It's okay.
Well, there's some people, but I mean, still, like they may take your video down or whatever.
They won't. If anything, they just copyright claim it, which just means they.
Yeah, but you don't want to get a bunch of strikes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think we're even. Is our channel even up for?
Nope.
Maybe we should do that. I don't know.
I think it takes a while.
Probably.
You have to have a certain amount of subscribers or something.
Right.
It'll take a while.
I just assumed they approach you once you reach a certain amount.
Probably.
But I think you can also apply for it. Anyway, who knows? Someone who knows about YouTube that can
Call me, YouTube.
Call us.
Let's watch this.
Yeah. Here's Ricky Gervais tearing
I don't
apart.
care anymore.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I never did.
I got him.
NBC clearly don't care either.
NBC.
Fifth time. So, I mean, Kevin Hart was fired from
Kevin
the Oscars
Hart.
because of some offensive tweets. Hello.
Yeah.
Lucky for me, the Hollywood foreign press can barely speak English. And they've no idea what Twitter is. So I got offered this gig by fax. So let's go out with a bang. Let's have a laugh at your expense.
A laugh.
Shall we? Remember, they're just jokes. We're all going to die soon.
Thank you.
And there's no sequel. So,
Thank you.
yeah, remember that. But you all look lovely, all dolled up. You came here in your limos. I came here in a limo tonight, and the license plate was made by Felicity Huffman. So, no.
Got her.
Oh,
It's a-
Tom
it's
Hanks
a
is like,
I can't
daughter
tell
I
if
feel
he's
sorry for,
offended by that or he's
okay?
just reacting to
that
something
must be the
else.
most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to
He's
her.
like-
And her dad was in Wild Hogs. So
God, what?
God,
Got your wild
lots
hog.
of big celebrities here tonight. I mean, legends.
I saw that movie in
icons,
theaters.
Yeah? Look, at this table alone.
I've seen it more
Al
than I wanted
Pacino,
to.
Robert De Niro. But
That's it. Cut
That's
to
all.
the rest of the people.
Baby
That's it.
Yoda. Oh, that's Joe Pesci. Sorry.
God.
Oh,
I love
got
you, man. Don't
him.
have me whacked.
Pop culture reference.
But tonight
Nah, it's
isn't just
alright.
about
It's
the
not
people in
good.
front of the camera. In this room are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world. People from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow.
Got him.
He's
I don't know
coming
who
for
that
you.
is.
He's coming for
It's well. I'll
Look.
talk about it later. It's fine. Go ahead. Just keep playing. Oh, this is a
Talking
long
of all
video.
you
Let's get through it.
perverts,
Oh, but this
10
guy,
minutes.
the Pirates of the Caribbean guy. I don't
you. It
know
was a
his
big
name.
year
Oh.
for paedophile movies. Surviving R. Kelly,
Pedophiles.
Leaving Neverland, Two Popes.
What are we talking about? We were just talking about
Shut
Michael.
up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care.
Shut up. I
He's
don't
one of the
care.
two popes.
Many
Just to
talented
make sure.
people of colour were snubbed in
This is a
major
good one.
categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. The Hollywood foreign press
Mm.
are all very, very racist. So, fifth time. So,
I love the Tom Hanks cut.
we were going to do.
Come on, Tom. It's a
Tom,
joke.
This year,
Come
but
on.
when I saw the list of people that had died, it wasn't diverse enough. It's just no. It was mostly white people, and I thought, nah, not on my watch.
They don't know what to do.
Maybe next year.
Smile awkwardly.
Let's see what happens. No one cares about movies anymore. No one goes to cinema. No one really watches
Kinda.
network TV. Everyone's
sad.
watching Netflix. This show should just be me coming out going, well done, Netflix, you win everything. Good night. But no, we got to drag it out for 3 hours. You could binge watch the entire first season of Afterlife instead of watching this show. That's a show about a man who wants to kill himself because his wife dies of cancer. And it's still more fun than this. Okay?
Oh.
Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way. So in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. Wait, I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
Shut up. Adam Driver. Oh, I love
You
him.
had to make your own way here in your own plane, didn't you?
Had to make your own way here in your own plane. Nice.
Seriously, most films are awful,
man.
lazy, remakes, sequels. I've heard a rumour that there might be a sequel to Sophie's Choice. I mean, that'd just be Meryl Streep going, well, it's got to be this one then. All the best actors have jumped to Netflix and HBO, you know. And the actors who just do Hollywood movies now do fantasy adventure nonsense. They wear masks and capes and really tight costumes.
Kylo Ren?
Their job isn't acting anymore. It's going to the gym twice a day and taking steroids, really. Have we got an award for most
You see
ripped junkie?
Camille Nanjiani?
Ripped.
No point. We know
Crazy.
he's
Shredded.
Martin Scorsese, the
Scorsese.
greatest living director,
Scorsese.
made the news for his controversial comments about the Marvel franchise. He said
Subscribe!
they're not real
Subscribe to
cinema,
this
and
show.
they remind him of theme parks. I agree. Although I don't know what he's doing hanging around theme parks. He's not big enough to go on the rides, is he?
Oh, short Joe.
Tiny.
It's true. It's true.
I like
Look
the
at him.
people who are just like, yeah,
Right.
go along with it. It's fine.
The Irishman was amazing. It was amazing. Look, it was. It was great.
Backhanded compliment. Did you see Jason
Wait
Momoa
for
ended
it.
up taking off his...
Long, but amazing.
I saw him. I saw
No,
that.
he
wasn't
took
the
off
only
his
epic
like
movie.
jacket and he's
Once
walking
upon a
around with
time in
wife
Hollywood,
beater
nearly
everywhere.
3 hours long. Leonardo DiCaprio attended the premiere, and by the end, his date was too old for him. So,
Got it.
even Prince Andrew's like, "Come on, Leo, mate.
Oh,
You know, you're nearly 50, son." The world got to see James Corden as a fat pussy. He was also in the movie Cats, but no one saw that.
this is true.
And the reviews. Oh,
We should watch Cats.
Well, I don't want to see it in theaters, but I do
We
want to
should
do a
watch
commentary.
Cats and do a commentary for it. I've heard
Okay.
it's awful, and Kirsten likes it.
Oh, that's right. Not my Kirsten.
Not your Kirsten.
Thank goodness. No. Jacob's sister.
At least not mine anymore.
I hope not. Oh, that's it. I gotta go.
I gotta break the news. Yeah, we should watch it though. I've heard nothing but bad things.
Well,
and that makes me
that-
so excited.
And then they're like going out because it's like human hands. They forgot to. Fix
They're still
it
doing
and
it. They're still redoing
Yeah, they're gonna
it.
go back in and like patch it. It's like a video game
have
or
to
something.
see it. I want to see it before it was patched.
Yeah.
though, which I don't know if I'll ever see.
I don't know. I mean, I guess you could go see it now.
Also, I don't like James Corden at all.
No, I don't like James Corden.
He's super annoying.
There's nobody in that movie I'm really like, oh,
Idris
that's
Elba.
well, Idris Elba.
Judi Dench. Serena McKellen.
Serena McKellen.
Old people. But why are
Taylor
you-
Swift? She's just in there just for the name recognition mainly.
Tyler.
What?
No.
You don't like Taylor Swift? She's got a few okay songs.
I just like hating on her.
It's fine.
'cause she's
You just
famous.
hating on me.
I love
That's
hating.
all your thing.
I think it's funny. Oh, someone mentioned on Twitter, it's like Tyler says something, Jesse, and then it was just me like disagreeing with you instantly. It's like
That's-
Tyler, like, I thought it was pretty good. I'm like, I hate it.
Hated it. Literally everything. You're just like,
I just do it for the meme now. It's funny.
it could be part of the drinking game if anyone follows it.
Anytime I purposely
Anytime
disagree
someone-
with Tyler to make him
Anytime
laugh,
Jesse immediately disagrees with Tyler.
I love it. I think it's hilarious.
Okay, well,
shocking.
here we
I
go.
saw one
Shocking.
said, this is
Shocking.
the worst thing to happen to cats
Shocking.
since dogs, right?
Oof.
all
I
the
saw that review.
But Dame
Oh,
Judi
yeah.
Dench defended the film,
All the
saying it was
reviews
the
are the
role
best.
she was born to play.
like just reading the
because
reviews
she-
for anything of
I
these.
can't do this next joke.
What?
Because she loves nothing better than plonking herself down on the carpet, lifting her leg, and licking her.
Oh, nice.
Furball.
Was
She's
she
old
there?
school.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's the last time. Who cares? Oh. Apple roared into the TV game with a morning show. A superb drama. Yeah.
Haven't seen it. Who has Apple TV to watch
There
it?
he is.
Drama about the importance
Tim
of
Cook,
dignity
is that his name?
and doing the right thing.
The CEO.
Made by a company that runs sweatshops in China. So, well, you say you're woke, but the companies you work for, I mean, unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney. If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent, wouldn't you? So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta
Some people
Thunberg.
tried to clap.
So, if
Someone's
you
like,
win,
yes.
right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God. And
It was the people who, the people clapping were the people who were not in anything in Netflix, Disney, or
it's
anything.
already
Otherwise, they would
3
have been
hours
canceled.
long. Right, let's do the first award. The first award. The first award is for Best Actor in
I
a
think
television
so.
series, musical or comedy. To present the award,
So
are a
skip
couple
down
of
because the
actors. I
Bird
have to
Box
tell you, what
joke
can
is
I
the other
say?
one I care
Which
about.
Jennifer Aniston,
I don't know.
Reese
Go about there.
Witherspoon.
Try that.
Here?
Yeah, somewhere right there.
Okay.
Here we go. So it's just kind of the clips
Riveting.
throughout the night.
Riveting. Excellent.
Amazing.
Exquisite.
Amazing. See, it's
A
just
lot
like
of controversy
amazing.
about our next category. No female directors were
Oh.
nominated this year. Not one. I mean that's bad. I've had a word with the Hollywood Foreign Press, and they've guaranteed that will never happen again. No, because working with all the major studios, they've agreed to go back the way things were a few years ago, when they didn't even hire women directors, and that will solve the problem. You're welcome.
It's just his expressions and stuff. It's just like really.
He looked at his watch.
We're nearly done.
Kill me.
Well, you nearly done.
He said, "Kill me."
Right.
Bleeping it out.
Right.
Last one. Come on, guys. Our next presenter starred in Netflix's Bird Box, a movie where people survive
Is it?
by acting like they don't see a thing. Sort of like working for Harvey Weinstein. You did it. I didn't. You did it. Please welcome Sandra Bullock.
Oh, that was 1917.
I have to see that movie.
That
dude.
one. Okay, we can
I've
end
heard
it.
nothing. Okay, we're
Yeah.
10 minutes of just talking about this one video.
I mean, it's
Great.
whatever.
Great podcast.
Look,
I love it.
we're gonna talk about Mandalorian and Star Wars some more, so it's fine.
Kill
It's the
me.
last time. It's post Star Wars month, but it's. I explained it in the recap, the whatever update thing. You can watch that. If you want. But do we want to talk trailers at all? Do you want to watch those trailers? You didn't watch them, right?
I did not watch them on purpose.
Right. So you might as well bring them. But yeah, so it's just nice to see, like, I like Ricky Gervais because he's just kind of like, get over it or whatever kind of thing. And I mean, I don't want to be like that kind of guy where it's just like, you shouldn't be offended by anything. But when it goes too far, it's like sometimes
Too far is too far, my dude. I haven't seen this.
nobody cares about your political
Is this the one?
opinions. Yeah.
What's the other
yes.
trailer I'm supposed to watch?
New Mutants?
Okay.
I mean, we don't have to watch
Are
them.
we
Those are just the new trailers.
ready?
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
Gold Globes.
I
Who
watched
cares?
Gold
Who cares?
Globes.
Joaquin Phoenix, his speech was great.
I didn't get to hear his. I didn't actually listen to his, but I knew I heard that he had a good one.
I want to watch it.
Don't worry about
It's
it.
really good.
What's really good about it? He just
He
got
did
arrested.
what Ricky did, basically.
recently.
He just said, who cares about any of this? I wish I could give this award to you guys. And he's like, it's amazing.
I
He
love.
started crying.
That's
I was
good.
just like,
I
this
love,
guy's the best.
Yeah, he just got arrested. Did you see that?
Yeah, for protesting. Him and some
I didn't hear about
lady.
anyone else. He's the only one who's important.
There was some other celebrity lady.
Oh. But yeah, so like Joaquin Phoenix though, like it's him and a couple other people. He's just like, you can just tell they're just like, especially when he does interviews, he just does whatever he wants and he just
pulling
messes
it
with
up.
people. It's great. Don't do it. No.
It's It's so good, dude.
All right, since we're still on the
How do you
subject.
spell his name? That's it right there. That's literally it.
Well, that's the variety. It's not
I
really
know,
speech.
but I think that is
Maybe
a
it is a
speech.
speech. Well,
That
whatever.
is-
Just go to that one. I mean, that's probably the official.
Hopefully it's censored.
Do that one.
Hopefully it's censored.
Well, if it's NBC, so it'll be. If it's not, we'll just have to do it on our own.
oh, God. Not, we don't own this. Don't
So
look. We don't own this ad.
You can play this Taco Bell when you sponsor us.
Yeah.
Do it. Don't
Yeah,
look at it. Don't
do
look at it.
All right, here we go.
It's nothing.
All right.
It's great. I'll just show you a little bit of it.
Good for him.
He's so nervous. I love it.
I mean,
First, I'd like to thank the
He deserves
Hollywood
it.
Foreign Press
He deserves it.
for recognizing and acknowledging the link between animal agriculture and climate change.
Okay, but this
This is the
It's a
thing. This
very
is why he got
bold move,
arrested.
making
Yeah.
Tonight plant-based, and it really sends a powerful message.
Is he like
my-
vegetarian or vegan?
Fellow nominees,
this is the part.
Yeah, just
we
like
all know there's no competition between us. It's like this thing that is
Adam Driver,
created
was he
to
at
sell
Marriage Story?
advertisements for the
You seen it?
TV show.
I watched some of
Just
it. I
watched it.
started watching it. And I
I'm
was like,
inspired by
that's so good.
you. I'm your f***ing student. I
like,
can't
why didn't
believe
I
the
win?
beautiful,
I should've won for the-
mesmerizing, unique work that you've all done this year. And I know people say this, but I really do feel honored to be mentioned with you.
I mean, it's just it's sincere.
I know.
Some
it's
of you
seems-
I
lovely.
reached
feels
out
sincere.
to personally.
he's a
Some,
baseman.
I'm still a little too intimidated by, even though we share the same agent. Hi, Christian.
Oh
you're
no,
Whoa.
the cravy's me.
Alright, I'm
Wait, where are you
done.
going? That's it.
He's
Okay,
so
just
sweet about
thanks
it.
people now. It's cool.
Birds of Prey. Didn't watch the trailer on purpose because I need to start thinking about content for this podcast, and I thought maybe not watching it would help.
And then you sent it to me, and I watched it, and I was like,
I
oh,
didn't
this-
think
and you're
about-
like, oh, I didn't.
I
Watch
was
this.
at work when it came out. I was like, send it to Tyler so don't forget. And
It's
I
fine.
was like, I probably should have told him that I wasn't going to watch it once
Eh,
you replied back.
It's fine. It doesn't matter.
For now on, I'll try not to watch trailers till sometimes. If they're movies I care about or whatever.
We can
Big
still.
movies.
I always just rewatch them anyway. Sometimes, well, big ones anyway. So it's not like a big deal. Anyway,
Birds of Prey. I hate it.
it's the worst. I'm done with this already.
Can I help you?
Oh, wait, we're talking about DC.
Yes, you can.
Good for us.
Ew.
I'm
Continue.
here to report a terrible crime.
Is
And
it a
what
crime that
terrible
you're
crime
going to
is
do?
that?
This one.
This one.
Whoa! Called it.
Wow, that guy just got a
shit,
beanbag
I
to
told
the
this all
face.
wrong. Quick history lesson. This all started
Have I heard
when
this
the
song
Joker
before?
and I broke up.
Yeah.
It was completely mutual.
Was it though? Or was it because no one likes Jared Leto enough
And
to be in
soon
this
enough-
movie?
I was back on my feet.
What if she just like
ready to
actually kill
embrace
him in
the
this movie?
fierce
That would be
goddess
amazing.
within.
Ew.
It's funny because she's like
What is this
mopey and
song?
kind of.
I'm about to learn that a lot of people want me to and at
Oh, there's
top
the
of
black
that
mask.
list,
Do we see him in the
this
black
guy.
mask?
Like for a second.
but it
He
turns
might be
out
the only reason I'll watch this movie. Was it cocaine,
that
I'm
wasn't
guessing?
the only day
Yeah.
in Gotham looking for emancipation.
Ew. Don't like the song.
The kid just robbed
It's
him.
nice. It's fancy.
You betrayed him. You killed his BFF.
You know what?
You were so cool.
That's the
And you're
that's the girl from Pineapple Express that freaks
The cop.
out.
The
I
crazy
keep
cop
forgetting
lady.
about her.
It's a really weird choice, but okay. it's an unexpected choice. I
I
should
keep
say.
forgetting.
unless we all
There you go.
Oh.
very unpleasant.
Can I go back and look at that? I'm sorry.
No.
I just want to see.
No. I'm just kidding you.
I have to. Ooh.
It looks pretty good. I mean,
I like it.
it's not bad. I wish they would have done the whole Batman eye makeup around it.
I like that.
good.
And
That's-
plus,
you
you
get
get McGregor, and I mean, dude, I might just watch it for him.
He's probably good. He looks like he's having
Did you
fun.
hear the rumor that Jar Jar Binks is going to be an Obi-Wan?
No.
Yeah. Apparently, that's a rumor heading
Don't
around.
know if I believe it. I was still waiting for Jar Jar to show up at the end to
I
be
think
like,
it's-
I'm the one behind
It
this.
was. I saw it on like Reddit
Rise of
on like
Skywalker.
the Star Wars leaks. So it's like Jedi Paxis. He said there's a rumor going around over here at Disney that Jar Jar Binks is going to be an Obi-Wan. I would not want that, but Anyway,
I
Unless
can't
we
believe
all want to
that.
die very unpleasant death, we're gonna have to work together.
There it is. It's pretty good.
I like it.
I mean, it just looks like a generic-y black mask.
Just like Ewan
skull
McGregor.
mask.
Just knowing Ewan McGregor's in it makes it better.
It looks like the mask you have.
Psychologically speaking,
pretty
vengeance
much.
rarely
I can
brings
go
the
grab it.
reverses we hope for.
You want to wear? You should have wore it for the trailer.
So, never mind.
So, I think I like this one better than the last one,
That's pretty cool.
but I don't know.
Is there anything else?
Shit, is that a hyena in a bathtub?
I named him Bruce after that hunky Wayne guy.
Ben Affleck.
You want my hot take?
Wait. Go to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, give me some hot
I
takes.
don't think it looks that good. Not gonna lie. I think it looks
It
kind of
could
bland.
be.
Is our
it's just-
audio okay?
Well, we'll check it in a minute.
Okay, I'm worried that we lost
When we
everything
cut
talked
to what's possible.
about, which would not be
Yeah,
good.
so we'll see. Our audio's been acting strangely.
I have two masks. We should have worn both. I have the Joker clown mask from Dark Knight,
Oh, you got that one?
and I have the other mask.
Well, we can if we ever.
what am I doing?
I don't know if I'm gonna watch it
Well,
when it comes
because
out.
we
Because
were,
I don't know.
I was planning on going as the Joker. I
Yes.
was gonna buy the suit and
Yeah.
the.
Can still do it,
thing.
man.
I should have done it.
Although now you gotta go Walking Phoenix Joker. So
I would look bad. Do you want to go to Comic Con this year? Kylie's going.
yes. Does she go to regular Comic Con or does she go to
Last time she
Galaxy
did,
Con
she went
or
to
like
last
anime?
last one she went to was just a
PopCon?
regular Comic Con. It was the
latest one?
yeah.
Oh, I thought that was the. Yeah, we can.
First
I'm
one
cool
she
with going.
went to was an anime convention.
Yeah.
Second
I-
one she went to was the Louisville or
Mm.
Lexington. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm kind of late on my costume because I was gonna do a Matt Murdock one
Oh yeah,
where it was just the suit and the
yeah,
glasses
yeah.
and like the tie and had the cane, like have like add a little like like you've been beat up or something the night before.
Do you want to take a
But
break
now it's a
before
little
we
late.
watch this trailer?
Sure. Well, let's watch the trailer and then we'll take a break and then we'll talk about the main thing.
Aight.
How about that?
Okay, here we go. New Mutants. Haven't seen this one yet either.
New Muties. Well, this movie will it ever come out? Supposedly now it is.
What's the last
Am I gonna be able to tell in this trailer of reshoots, or did they basically did they refilm the whole thing? Like as far as that.
Whoa! This is a touchscreen.
No.
What?
I clicked it the second you did it.
Whoa! I was like, I didn't know that. I was like, oh, it was a touchscreen.
What?
The reason you survived is because you're a very uncommon girl.
Because you're
Because you're a
special.
mutant.
Because you're a mutie.
You're not alone. Not anymore.
Oh.
Do you know what mutants are? Would anyone like to share their first time?
I forgot she was
Right.
in
Your
this.
first time?
She's been
This
gone.
is weird.
Yeah, she's been gone for a while.
I just lost control.
So she is a werewolf
it?
girl.
I started panicking.
Oh,
He
is he
is-
good or is he a good actor or not?
Roberto?
I don't know.
My girlfriend had burned her.
And
I
he's like a
burned her?
fire guy.
Killed 18 men. One
I like her.
by one.
That song's creepy.
This isn't a hospital.
It's pretty good.
It's a
This is
cage.
one as far as the creepy redos of songs go. This is not a bad one.
It's important.
They
we
kind of
find
don't
out
really
who you
remix it. They
are
just use
so
that
we
one
can help
spot.
you get better.
Well, but it is like
Yeah,
a weird,
that's good. That's
echoey
the
remix.
best thing.
Whatever you want to call it.
I saw
It's a
something.
remix.
I don't think she wanted me to see.
So I don't understand this at all.
I don't think we're here to get better.
Okay.
This place takes your greatest fear
I don't get it.
and makes you live through it until it kills you.
Is she in charge of this, or is she just there?
I don't know. It doesn't make
Because
sense.
she sounds
either.
like she's scared too.
We can get out
Don't
of
know.
this.
I don't get it. I just don't know what's
Together.
happening at all.
Not sure what her powers are. I mean, look, I feel like
What? No. What?
Oh yeah.
What?
So
Whoa.
there's a weird dog thing. I don't know. Hopefully it's not like a. I'm kind of worried it's just going to be like a one big superhero villain that they got to defeat.
Oh, nuts.
But I like the idea of like a haunted house, mutants, that it's like a horror film.
Hey, I like that too.
Because I feel like that's the obvious thing. Like they kind of did it at the beginning of the first X-Men movie where Rogue kisses her boyfriend and he just like starts dying.
Yeah.
And he's like screaming in the room and it's like, oh, this has got this started
pretty
intensely.
good.
Or even like at Auschwitz when like,
Auschwitz.
don't even, it's too soon.
When is it never gonna not be too soon?
Exactly.
All right. Should we take
But
a
anyway.
break before we get into?
But I
But
think this one looks good though. I'm glad.
I think it looks good. I just don't know.
This is the
what in the
last of
world's
the Fox
happening.
mutants. I mean, I consider it separate from the X-Men.
Okay, well, I would
but
say
it's going to be the last of the actual Fox made X-Men stuff.
I'm excited for this,
Mutant
but Disney has this now in their hands, so I wonder what they've changed to it.
And they've pushed it back so much.
I wish this was like a rated R, dark.
It's not rated yet, right?
No,
I
it
would
needs
guess
to be a rated R. Otherwise, it's going to turn into Dark Phoenix.
It may have been originally. Well, I just like the idea because Logan works so well when you just take a mutant X-Men stuff and turn it into like a different genre.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm hoping they can kind of take a little bit of that and put it into, just feed it into this movie.
Dark
somehow.
Phoenix came out this year.
Yes.
That movie sucked.
It's
I
not
keep
great.
thinking about that. The Weekly Planet did their best and worst, and that's when they said Dark Phoenix. I'm like,
That's it.
that's the first time I've thought about that movie since it
Since
came
it
out.
came out?
And I'm like, I forgot that movie came
I was
out.
just thinking about James McAvoy being forced to walk up the steps.
Yes,
It's like
I
a
would keep
weird-
thinking about that too. I'm
I
like,
was like,
this is not.
well, this just made me think
my
of it.
favorite scene is when when she's trying to pull the helicopter and he's trying to push the helicopter,
like,
and it's like the,
or they're like
the Rise of Skywalker thing. I
That's
just
what
keep
I'm
thinking
saying.
about that, and the pilot be like,
pilot. I just like to imagine the pilot in this.
just like, what am I? What
or
is
the
happening?
people inside are just like, oh my gosh. Okay, let's take a break.
We'll be back after these messages.
Right after this. There was no change. Oh no, not again. No change whatsoever.
We're back, baby.
Yeah. So 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, we recorded this. We talked about The Mandalorian. We talked about some Star Wars. Yes. Because last week I was gone.
We should talk about that.
Do we want?
When you get back. When we get this done, we'll talk about it at the
We
end.
can talk about it right now.
Let's talk about it at the end.
Okay.
Because I want to get this over with. I'm
No,
furious.
I'm still excited to talk about Mandalorian
Me too.
because I feel
got
like
too much to say.
I feel like in some ways last time I kind of just was like, this is good, this is good, this is good, or whatever. But which is my favorite bit of reviews. But
we talked on our review.
it just felt kind of messy, is all.
Thinking about the movie again. Are we talking about Mandalorian or this?
Mandalorian first.
Okay, well,
Let's talk about the good thing.
I'll say my review of the thing has changed. The Rise of Skywalker has definitely
changed since our
original
our
review.
podcast
Yeah.
review. Okay,
My opinion's changed.
so you don't like it now?
I still.
I don't know. Okay, well,
I
hold
just
on.
got too much to talk about. Let's talk about the Mandalorian though.
Well, I was just gonna talk about as Star Wars as a whole,
Star Wars as a whole,
or like
Star Wars is a whole.
Mainly-
is a black hole right now.
mainly Rise of Skywalker and how that ties into the all of Star Wars and the new series trilogy. Kind of a thing.
Yeah,
Mandalorian though
it's
is a good show.
It's not great. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's good. It's really good. Really good. Great. Not perfect, I'd say. It's a breath of fresh air.
Why is it not perfect, Jesse?
There's some things I think it's a little kind
I
of.
think it's perfect. I think
It's a little cheesy
perfect.
sometimes.
Yeah, it's cheesy.
But I think it's great.
Yeah, cheesy in what way?
Some of the acting, some of the fights are a little.
Well,
So I mean, I think it's good. It's TV,
yeah,
but I'm not gonna say it's
it's
perfect.
a TV with like a 15 million budget. Or
Yeah, I
something.
gotta stop saying
per
things that are like
episode.
really great when there's still a couple things wrong.
Would you
with it.
just say great? Well, I mean,
I think
you
it's.
can still
I
something
think
can still be great with
It's
having
not perfect.
flaws.
That's all I can say. It's not perfect.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I still love it.
as with everything, there's always some kind of thing that's like.
I mean, as a TV show, a live action TV show, it's great.
Well,
You can tell that it's high budget.
yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of like.
Basically, quality.
Yeah.
I would consider it. Like if I saw most of that stuff, movie. I wouldn't really quite. I wouldn't really like that's not quite such a TV show.
I keep forgetting though. I mean, TV shows are really spoiled to the point where it's not like a serial. Like it's more like it's a binge. Yeah, like Stranger Things, stuff like that. There's every not just like week to week, but like story wise, how it just doesn't really kind of it doesn't ever wrap up in a single episode. On these episodes, it like starts the whole story and ends. It's kind of like a own little story of its own.
Yeah,
I'm not used to that.
episodic.
I think it's good.
Somewhat.
I've been spoiled.
Yeah.
By it being like,
well, I prefer
Stranger
that sometimes.
Things is like episode 3 cliffhanger, episode 4 cliffhanger. It's always kind of lead to the next thing for overarching storky. You know what I'm saying?
Storky. Yeah.
Because like this is like the one episode that I keep thinking about a lot. That's just like a full story. Is the prison one?
Yeah. Right.
It ends.
Guy shows
and then
up.
it doesn't really have anything to do with the episode before or after. Full spoilers?
Yeah, I was going to say full spoilers just because it's been out. We didn't even get to review it last time, so we'll just go. Full spoilers. It's been a long time. Get Disney Plus for like 7 days and you can watch it all.
Or if you have Verizon, have it free
or
for
if you
a
have
year.
Verizon, yeah, just get it free for real. Just sign up for it, basically.
Yeah.
Give them your Verizon account or whatever.
Although I heard that they have charged people.
Really?
For like a full year. On like just like randomly charged people like a full year who are just signed up for like.
Well, look, we can't give it free to everybody, so
Disney.
some people got to pay. That's all I'm saying. As long as it's not me,
yeah,
it's fine. But yeah, so I mean, so I like this one. Yeah, again, it's the Rise of Skywalker has just become, or just Star Wars in general, has just become so like just bigger and bigger. We got people like instead of Darth Vader, just like. Slightly choking somebody in their chair. We got Kylo Ren like
throwing
them
someone through a ceiling.
Not only choking them, but they're being slammed against the ceiling. And then you got the scene where they like land in the ship, Rise of Skywalker again, and they're just like, and they're like, hey, we need some identification. Like,
exactly.
And then they're running down the halls and like, as opposed to like New Hope where they're like
sitting
in there
for
they're sitting
a
in
couple
there.
hours.
They're like hiding in the things for 2 hours and like, well, we can't find anybody. Well, we better get the scanner crew up in here. That's probably a good plan. And they the scanner
look
crew
at my
comes
watch.
up and they're like,
it's almost
all right.
closing time.
They're like, who are you guys? We're like, we're the scanner crew. Let us in. And they're like, okay, I guess get in there. And then they hear like, they get beat up and they're like, you guys give us some hand in here. And then they're like, come on, let's go help these guys. And then they get in. They're like, my communicator is communicator. I keep saying communicator. My communicator is broken. They do the little like, and they're like, oh, we got to bust the communicator or whatever. But anyway, it's a long time, and they can't just run through. Eventually, they get to the blasting and the running through the halls. Yeah, but that's something that builds up, and it's like, surprise, it's Chewie. Bam.
I understand though, like,
and it's just so fast, and they're just like, and then they're like.
Well,
what's the ship doing?
You compare it to like the prequels.
You didn't know
that was a scale up from.
Sure, yeah, for sure. Well, in terms of lightsaber,
it still had a
feeling
feeling of Star Wars. It had like a little bit, like you could see.
I guess
I think the thing was they were going slower. You could digest things. There wasn't 1,000 set pieces. It was just like you go to like 3 planets in some of these some of the prequels. Like Phantom Menace, there's like you go to Tatooine. You're in a couple council meetings, and then you're going to Naboo. That's it.
I mean, there was a lot more worlds introduced in the Clone War
the Rise
era,
of Skywalker. It's like planet, move on. Don't let them digest what just happened. We got to keep moving. 10,000 starships.
How many planets are actually different planets are in Rise of Skywalker?
Too many.
Tatooine, the other sand place, the Burning Man sand place.
Yeah. The snow place, the World War II looking snow
Exegol.
place. Exegol.
Yeah, the World War II place.
The new jungle base.
It's
like Akan Collis or something.
It's like, that started with a J. And then you got Luke's, what's that one called?
Octu. And then you got the
Death Star moon.
You got there's more. I can't remember more.
Are there more? Mustafar
at the beginning. There is more. I know there's more.
That's 8 planets at least.
There's the ice place at the beginning.
Does that count as a planet?
Not really,
all right, it's a place. We'll throw it in there. Bespin?
Barely.
They
Endor,
go through
you see
that.
Endor in
Okay,
there
we
a
won't
little
count
bit.
those because it's kind of like
Yeah.
the end of the other one. They're like, oh,
But there's
there's
another,
like about 8 to 10 planets in this movie.
It's gonna bug me that I don't know the other one.
What other spot is it in?
I'm trying to remember.
I don't think it's in another spot, man. I think that's it.
There was.
I think that's it.
There was.
I
think
that's
there
it.
was.
I think that's it.
Yeah, you might
Well,
be right.
okay, I don't know.
Either way, that's
you might
way
be right.
more than. I mean, Last Jedi was way
Okay.
nicer because there's only 3.
Okay, but anyway, what I was getting at is this: they've built this thing
0
up.
to 100.
The Force is crazy. The action is just so fast.
The best shot
don't let you
to
think.
mention it is when you see every ship in the sky imaginable. Just you don't know what's happening, and like you go to the Mandalorian, it's such a breath of fresh air
But yeah,
because you
so-
see it's.
So now
small.
Mandalorian is like, okay,
It's great.
pull it back.
It's
pull
like-
it back, Disney.
It's like you're running a marathon, and the Star Wars is like a smooth road.
yeah. You're
That's
using
how it
my
used to be.
using my marathon.
I love your
analogy.
marathon
Well, I'll
analogy.
talk about it later because
But
it got
then
wiped.
the Rise of Skywalker is falling down a hill and trying to dodge every tree on the way down.
It's like
and then you just need to stay on track.
Well, it's like the difference between a nice smooth path for jogging. I can't
Mm-hmm.
talk today. And then it's like the army training
Yes,
whatever
exactly.
courses.
Trying to
And
juggle
you're
way
like-
too many
and you're
things
like
at
running
once.
up this mud wall and you're falling down and you're climbing under the tower. It's like, oh, jeez. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
I don't
Star
know.
Wars has
Maybe
gotten
that doesn't
too
work
much
exactly,
for me
but-
anymore. The Star Wars the movies,
yeah.
I've just felt too much. They feel like everything has to be pushed in all at once. Mandalorian is secluded,
Yeah.
small story,
one guy
with character
most of the time.
driven. Just
The guy doesn't even show his face.
exactly.
Well, he does, but
You know what I thought
doesn't
about?
really count.
I'm glad they showed his face in like not like the most flattering angle. Because if he like took off his helmet, he was like smoldering look. He's like
Brad Pitt under there.
He's like making like a double chin. He's covered in blood. He's
like
got the
all
hat
right,
hair.
He's like laying down. He's the blood, the sweat.
Jesse's MacBook, go away. Why have I not turned that off?
Thanks, Apple, for sponsoring.
That's it. I'm turning it off.
Jeez. But so yeah, I just appreciate the fact that it's just pulled back. It's a single. It's one character, and you actually get to learn about this character, which the movies do. They just did it
Somewhat.
poorly in the newer ones, I think.
I think in hindsight, the prequels did
Yeah.
everything the sequel trilogy.
right?
I mean, might not be great, but they've done better
yeah, but
juggling all
yeah,
that.
that and I like how they took the feeling of the old Star Wars, where it's
I
not
agree.
just it's the sturdy used world, sci-fi world, but it's also they took the Western feel, the Westerns feel, the movie Westerns. You know, obviously you can see that in the Gunslinger and stuff. And they took the old Japanese film and they kind of just like they took the East and the West and they kind of went and smashed them together and kind of get that same feeling with the original Star Wars and with this one. So you get to see a lot of that kind of thing. You know, you got the lone gun, the spaghetti Western style, where you got the lone gunman, and then you got the Japanese style where it's got the guy protecting. It's like this Ronin or something protecting this little kid or something. It's all kinds of things like that, you know. So it's like I liked how they brought it back to that sort of thing, and the new ones are kind of like, I don't know what this is really about. It's kind of Marvelized, it's Disney-fied,
I agree.
just blockbustery now.
I
Instead
think
of having a
Disney
theme.
owning Star Wars
I
has
guess.
almost been one of the worst things for Star Wars. I think Disney owning all these things, people are starting to realize how like all they care about is money.
Yeah, I
Before,
mean,
when you hear like Disney
yeah.
has this and they're able to get more things out, they have higher budgets.
Yeah. What was?
Like the biggest example is Rogue One. I mean, when you first heard Rogue One was coming out, you're like, yeah, it's an espionage movie.
It's a war
It's-
movie.
I mean, this needs to be.
We're putting the war back into Star Wars.
Then they Disney-fied a lot of it.
Well, because I don't even know what happened with that, because that one was so behind the curtain. It was so clean and like mopped up.
I think that
No
might
mess ups.
be the best thing, the best movie out of these Disney sequels. Rogue One. Personally, I think Rogue One might be my favorite.
I think I like Force Awakens a little more, but because I thought Force Awakens was a decent start. It's a pretty good film. I like the movie.
It's either Rogue One or that. I keep on.
But yeah, I think those two.
Those are
After
the
that,
best
they kind
things.
of progressively. Han Solo's not the worst. It was better than I thought it was.
it's growing on me.
There's still like the dialogue is really
Yeah.
bad, I think,
It
and he
looks
doesn't
not
feel.
good.
It's
too
fun.
dark.
Yeah, well, cinematography, but he doesn't feel like Han Solo. I mean, he's got the same, you know, like he has things like, oh yes, that's something Han Solo might say, but he the actor himself still feels like it's not really Well, my Han Solo, but still, like it's still a good movie in the Star Wars universe, and they kind of like shoehorn Darth Maul in there, oddly. But should we call him Darth Maul? He's not really a Darth anymore.
Maul.
I guess, yeah. I guess I don't know. What's his full name? Because Maul is like a when you're Sith, you just get like Darth Vader is not Anakin Skywalker's name, right? That's his Sith moniker or whatever. It's his Sith title. You know, you might become Darth Vader, but you know you have another name. So I don't think Maul would have been a part of Darth Maul's original name. It doesn't matter. You can look it up on Wikipedia maybe, but I don't think they have that information probably.
Wikipedia says that as far as we know, Maul is Darth Maul's pre-Sith name.
Well, see, as far as we know, but it can't be because that's never
Last
been the
name
case.
is made be considered Oppress. Maul Oppress.
Oh, that's right, because Savage Oppress, his brother.
Yeah,
it's probably true. Maul Oppress. I don't know. It's probably something like that though. Savage. That's pretty.
I mean, they all have different names, like how
it's very subtle.
Palpatine was Sidious.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Anakin's Darth Vader. Count Dooku took the name
Darth Tyrannus. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like as far as we know, it's never been part of their regular name. So I don't see why it would be Darth Maul would be his.
In Star Wars Rebels, Maul rejects the Sith and says it formerly Darth, now just Maul.
Well, there you go. But so I'm just saying, like, well, I don't know why he'd keep that name too, because that's probably the name Darth Sidious would have given him. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so, okay, moving on. So, yeah, Mandalorian. This is where I got off hand.
Are we doing like a full review? We talked a full review about it, haven't we? This is just kind of.
That's the part that got lost. That was the episode. But like I said, it felt kind of messy.
Well, I guess we don't really have to break down the show too much. We can just talk about it in general because it's been.
Sure. I mean, everyone's probably listened to a review of it by now, but
me and Tyler both love it.
I think it's a great show. Everything's enjoyable about it. I love Baby Yoda. That worked really well. That's like the best thing. It's like the best new cute thing for me to come out of Star Wars. The longer it was
on screen, the more I was like, it looks a little. You can tell it's fake. Biggest thing is when people pick it up. There's like no weight to it. You can tell it's just like
it's a little sack.
You can just like toss it,
puppet sack.
Yeah, you can tell because they try to. You can tell when people are trying to act like something's heavy. They over exaggerate. I'm like, come on. You can tell.
I guess. I mean,
there's something about it.
Moving around, but
there's something.
I think it looked the best early on.
I agree. I think that was on purpose.
Certain episodes were kind of like.
That was probably on purpose.
Yeah, like when he crawls out and tries to like heal his arm.
Yeah.
Like I guess you find out he's trying to do that eventually, but
yeah,
all that kind of thing. But that looked really good. Like that first episode was really looked the best as far as Baby Yoda. But the rest of it was really good too. But I like it as a puppet.
I asked you before, but I don't remember. What was your least favorite episode?
It might be the Tatooine one because
Gun Runner or something.
Maybe it's the one where he helps out this other bounty hunter kid.
Yeah,
he's sitting in the
Polis.
The Popo. So that's the only one because I'm like Tatooine. I guess we had to have that in there, but like
that was the fan service episode.
Yeah, because he goes
so far as you can see the pole in the background that Luke and Leia and Han held in the garbage disposal.
Really? Oh,
you can see that in the background. I was like, I know that pole. I'm like,
well, the same
right.
thing is like they had they look for the sewage grate or whatever, and it was like it looked the same as the one from the Death Star. Like I hadn't even thought of that, and someone pointed it out, and I was like, oh yeah, that does look like. Why would they have the same one in this little planet as on the Death Star?
Yeah.
You know. But
is it annoying that everything in the Empire looks the exact same?
That makes sense to me.
All the facilities look the exact same as the Death Star.
Well, it's like Disney. Whenever it buys something, it turns into the same thing.
Yeah, I guess. I was thinking about Rogue One. Like what?
That makes sense.
I watched Rogue One the other day, and they're like going up the tower to get the data things. I'm like, this just looks like the Death Star.
Oh, I see. It's just yeah. I mean, I guess I thought you meant they were used the same parts and stuff.
But you know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Like all the facilities, just like.
I mean, I guess if you have a civilization, they make similar types of things. Like one type of civilization makes a similar type of house or something.
I
similar.
guess.
But that's kind of what I thought. It's like, well,
Okay.
if the Empire's in
It's not a
charge,
big
they're
deal.
just going to use the same stuff over and over again because
Just
it's
a-
easier,
It's just a tangent.
quicker to
of mine,
manufacture. Anyway.
Probably.
But yeah, so that episode felt the most like, oh, it's Tatooine.
We're back
Why
to
are we
the-
going to this?
back
planet
to the
again? But-
old.
and it's like, yeah, and we go to the Mos Eisley, and we go to the same bar, but this time it's got the droid in there because it's like, you
Yeah.
remember he's like, no droids.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But it was that. What kind of droid is that? It's like the same droid that was on Jabba's ship,
I don't remember.
and he's like,
We did get
"We
those
have
one little droids in that episode.
the pit droids.
Those are cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of happy to see pit,
Actually,
pit
I
droids
actually like
again.
pit droids. They're
It's
kind of cool
whatever.
looking.
I had a game. I got a game from the library when I was young called Pit Droids,
Nice.
and it never freaking worked on the computer, and I was so upset.
I don't have
Do you
it
remember the
on-
days? I don't
there-
know if you ever had that issue. The days where you'd always get like computer games from library or something, and they never freaking work on
Yep.
my computer because you don't have this software, you don't have this driver, you don't have this 3D card. And I'm like,
Eventually, my mom figured out what the card was. I'm like, you could have saved me so much time.
you don't have this special sound card, you don't have this special game
Yeah.
3D card.
There was one game that I bought
It made me so
that
sad.
never worked.
Or they'd work somewhat and then they would just stop working.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
man.
do you
Nobody
remember how
knows
when
the
you have
struggle?
remember when you used to have to buy the CDs and the games and you had to install and it would take like hours?
Yeah, 70% done.
Now you just have to
And
order.
then it's
Now
like
you just have to download for
I got
hours
the-
online.
it was the Ultimate Spider-Man game. It wasn't too long after that I got actually like a PlayStation 2 or whatever, but I was a late game getter. But it's because it had like 4 discs, so you had to like put the next one.
Every game used to have 4 discs.
Or
and you had
2,
to install
or
each
depending.
one of them. Anyway,
So yeah, but Pit Droids. So that was cool. And then I just didn't like that guy. He was a bad actor. I felt. Or
Yeah.
it just felt like a little cheesy of an actor.
he was trending on Twitter for hating The Last Jedi. Or not The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker. He's like, this
That's
is
right.
awful.
Well, look, you're in the better show, perhaps, but maybe not the best.
Maybe just shut
episode.
up.
Maybe just don't. But anyway, so they go into
Aren't
that.
you just dead?
Weren't you killed?
He
Didn't the
did
Mandalorian
die.
kill you? Yeah, he got shot. Because he's a big jerk. So anyway, so yeah, they're like in the same booth, and then the Mandalorian's sitting in the same booth where Han was.
Yeah. Was that the same booth?
I think so. It seemed it was like, wasn't it that corner one?
That was a little annoying.
And then
how
he
it's
goes
just
and
like
sits down
fan
to get him to help
service.
help him out, and they're like in the same like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool to
The
see that
do-back
stuff,
was cool.
but it was like, look,
I like to
I'm
see
not like
that.
complaining to see some. That one just
Nothing.
felt the most. I just didn't like that episode as a whole.
I love the
Mainly.
prison one.
Prison was cool. I
That's
don't like
probably
the
one-
guy, the Twilight guy.
I don't
they
either.
break out.
They
He's a little-
They're way overacting. You can tell, especially the
He
lady
is.
girl.
She's not bad. I feel like she can get away with it, but he's like trying to copy her. And I didn't like his weird lips and stuff.
I
didn't like
hated
him.
it.
He was the only bad part.
That
about
was
that
a
one.
good
I
episode.
didn't
That
love.
might be my favorite episode,
That
along
one
with the
might-
last episode.
It's the most like, yeah, like you were saying, the most complete
contained.
contained episode, because it's just like, okay, a guy's flying in. You could just do that as a short. That could have been the concept or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The guy flies into the ship. He gets an old bounty hunter, flies into the ship, and they to help his old team together. And they're like, "We're getting the team back together to go pull this one last thing or whatever." And it's like, yeah, rebel. What do they call it? Is it the New Republic?
New Republic.
That's what they call
Those
it.
are New Republic droids, which is kind of
That was
weird.
cool. See some droids,
Yeah.
different from what we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
But yeah, New Republic prisoner ship, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Was it traveling somewhere, or did it just continuously fly around so no one could really find it?
It was traveling somewhere.
Okay.
I still think that was like
And they killed Anakin.
probably my
in
favorite
that episode.
Oh yeah,
The
She
guy who
did.
does the voice of Anakin.
That might be my favorite episode. Like thinking about it, it's just like so simple. You have to get
Yeah.
some guy from a prison and they get double crossed.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
And it's not like he's the best. Yeah, he gets double crossed. I mean, that's a typical story, but it's done in a new way. That's the thing. Like, you know, what would the people say? There's only like a few stories anyway.
I think
That's
everything's been used at this point.
Right.
Almost.
It's basically done. But if you can do it in a different way, or it's like, oh, now it's in Star Wars. It's a prison break movie in Star Wars, which I feel like that'd be a good idea.
It's an espionage movie. Sounds great.
Somewhat, yeah. Yes.
Too bad we didn't get that. We got a war movie. Kinda.
We not really, but we didn't even get that though. Is what I'm saying,
Yeah.
because they're like, imagine Saving Private Ryan in Star Wars.
I was when
And
they
maybe
said
they kind of did that.
originally.
with the
They
beach.
said
It was like that.
espionage. I was like,
I thought they
Mission
were saying
Impossible. And then they're like, it's a war movie. I'm like, oh, That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and
It's
I just
neither.
It's not. Yeah, it's not really.
It's
anything.
just nothing.
For whatever reason, that got.
It's just
Screwed.
a cool looking movie. I think it's the best
Good.
looking
It's
Star
the best
Wars movie.
space battle movie for sure.
Probably the best looking Star Wars movie.
And I mean, they throw some cool stuff in there, like the old footage of the pilots that
We
they
should
didn't
do
use in
a
New Hope.
commentary because I really enjoy that movie.
For the next Star Wars movie.
We should just do all the Star Wars movie commentaries. Do them all.
Probably.
Let's just do them all. Let's do that this year.
Okay.
Starting from A New Hope.
Should we do it so soon? Because people are so burnt out on Star Wars.
Maybe, yeah, you might be right.
I don't know.
I
think we
watch
should
it.
do the Clone Wars since the new Clone Wars
The
season is coming
movie?
out. The movie. Clone Wars movie since the new
Never seen it.
series
It's
season.
the only thing of Star Wars I've never seen.
It's so bad.
The Clone Wars TV show, though.
I watched it when I was
I was
like
thinking,
a kid, and I was
do
like,
I
this
like-
is not good.
Do I like the Clone Wars TV show or do I like the Mandalorian better? I like the Clone Wars a little bit
I like the
more.
live action stuff, but I have more time with the Clone Wars,
That's probably why.
and so I have a little more like.
Built
in.
I
I don't know.
love the Clone Wars.
It's good.
I'm loving it.
I mean, there's not every episode
I'm
is
loving
amazing.
it.
But, do you like the Clone Wars or you like the Rebels better?
Oh, I mean, the Rebels kind of sucked.
I started watching the last season.
I
so
always
haven't
forget the
watched it.
Star Wars: The Resistance was a thing.
Do you like Star Wars Clone Wars or the Resistance? I know it's a thing because I was just looking at all the Star Wars stuff on Disney
I'm
Plus.
sorry,
recently.
but like everything
I never even
after
watched
like
Does the Poe
Return
show
of the
up in that?
Jedi, yeah, everything after Return of the Jedi, I kind of cringe at this point. I'm just kind of like,
I know what's going to happen.
oh,
I guess unless we get those replacement movies.
I might pay for that. I might pay to go
They have,
see
like-
it again if they added.
What they have like
They said they
44
were gonna-
million or something like that.
Yeah, they said they were gonna add like an extra 20 to 30 minutes of footage to the Rise of Skywalker
When it comes out.
in theaters. They're gonna re-release it.
Oh, it worked for Endgame, didn't it, Disney? Just keep going. with
That
it.
was awful though. They only added a unfinished scene
Did
of
they
the
even-
Hulk saving someone from a crashing satellite.
And something at the very end too, didn't they?
That was it.
There was something else. I thought there was one other thing.
I think that was all they added because
I
they
thought it was.
with additional footage, and then people were upset because that was the
I don't know.
only additional
But
footage.
is that in the one on Disney Plus? Like, is that on?
It's probably in the special features, yeah.
I just want it to be added to. If they're gonna add
It
it, just add it in the
is.
movie.
I don't know.
I thought there was one other thing. But anyway, so but yeah, I liked how they have an overarching story, but that they do have these contained episodes. So like, it goes somewhere to. It makes sense. And
ATST-1, Saving a Village.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be way more like plot driven. Like,
I agree.
This is all part of the plot. Every single
was
thing.
more like-
which somewhat they are, but
Very serial.
But it's like, oh, I got this child. Let's. Yeah, there's a couple. Like even the second episode is kind of on its own. It's like that was kind of the Indiana Jones theme episode. Where he's like climbing up the. That's a great scene though. When he's climbing up the.
I do think that the-
Jawa sandcrawler and he's like the cliff's coming and gets knocked out. It almost gets knocked off and then he climbs up and gets shot.
I am glad that it's a little bit
All the way
slower
down.
because I can kind of take my time.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I just
Like,
feel so rushed with Star Wars now. Like it's all 100 miles per hour.
you have
I
a
like to slow down and hear
it's-
people talk.
and that's mainly Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
Because I don't think Force Awakens or Last Jedi are that
Well,
fast.
I've had a second chance to watch. I've seen The Rise of Skywalker twice now.
Oh, did you see it again?
I had to go watch it with some family members.
You had to go watch it? Is that what you said?
I told them I would go watch it.
You weren't really
with
planning
them.
on it? Who'd you see it with?
My mom.
Oh, she went to go see it again? I thought she was.
No, I went. But the problem
anyway.
is it's so like just trying to speed you along.
But it is, yeah. If you don't give your time, if you don't stop and think, wait, what? Like, then
They
the
move
point is it's
on.
like,
Yeah. And that's why I love The Mandalorian
Which-
because I have time to
yeah.
sit down, hear characters talk. They can think about things. I have time to think about things.
There's lore
Exactly.
in the background that's going on.
It's not like, wait a second, slow down. I want to. What just happened? And then they already moved on because you're not allowed to think about what just happened because
What?
it doesn't make sense.
We got a knife? Whoa, what's a snake? You healed it? What? There's a
Wait,
ship here? It
what's-
works still? It's been down in the desert. It still works.
wait,
What's this all these
who's
sand
this guy
people?
trying to what?
Lando? Hey, what's that going on? Chewie, he's dead? Oh my gosh. Chewie's not dead?
Exactly.
You killed Hux? He's the it's like,
Imagine Dude, imagine
He's a
if you
ship.
went to the bathroom during this movie. How much stuff you would miss.
Even like a minute.
I gotta go run to the bathroom, pee real fast, and I'll be right back. You come back and it's just like, what?
It's
What?
over?
Who? What?
The Death Star. 3 more Death Stars are back?
Ugh.
You gave it.
I'm
You
so
waited.
over
You were
it.
gone for too long, man. Yeah, I don't know. But so this one, yeah, takes its time. You get to learn about the Mandalorian and a few side characters. You get to learn. You get to see these little moments. I love the little moments between.
Me too.
Maybe Steven Spielberg would call them human moments, but I like the little moments between Baby Yoda and
Mando.
Mandalorian. Like when they just flying.
Din Djarin.
They're just flying in the ship, and the little meme
knob.
where he flips the switch. And It's
Yeah.
like starts running something. He's like,
People
shuts it
are
off.
using that to everything now.
It's always music or something, and
Yeah.
it turns on and turns it off again, and then the best one where it's like the little pause. He's like, "Don't touch things." And he's like,
And then he waits and then he touches it again.
just watching him
I
like a
still
little
think-
kid would do.
I think
feel like.
having other directors
great
come
one.
in to do episodes great
Yeah.
too. I
Yes.
love the final episode. I love the other side characters. I think they're all really good.
Yeah, they're all strong.
IG-11,
Great.
God bless him. Taika Waititi, God bless him.
Taika Waititi.
God bless him. We bless you.
God bless him, Taika.
Deborah
he's doing
Chow
God's
did
work,
did the third
Lord's
episode.
work.
That was a great one.
She did that one and the second to last one,
Yes,
which are both
great.
two of the best ones.
I agree. I say the second to last one might be one of my favorites because that's where everything came together.
Sad.
It was sad,
They
but it
killed
came
off.
together.
They killed.
That guy.
I can never remember his name. When I need
His
to.
voice sounds like his name.
No, that's not him, was it? Maybe it was. They killed off
Nick Nolte. Exactly.
I can't do it right now. Sometimes I can do it really
That's
well.
the guy's voice that sounds like him. The way he looks is like his name. The other guy you're
Yeah, the way
thinking
he
about
looks.
is
It's two different people. Because
I know you know who I'm thinking about,
yeah,
right?
Toby Jones.
Toby
The man who looks how his name sounds. Who looks like how you think he'd look.
Toby Jones.
Toby Jones and Carl Urban. I kind of feel like he kind of looks like how he looks in some ways.
A name that doesn't match the way he looks. Chris Evans.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a Chris Evans.
Not
He looks
really.
like a hunk dunk.
Ew, gross.
What
Like,
should we name him,
have
honey?
more time.
Hunk dunk.
What's their last name?
Dunk.
Is Dunk their last name?
Yeah. Hunk dunk.
Gross.
Great tangent.
What a great last name.
Should we move on to The Rise of Skywalker?
No, I'm not talking about Mandalorian. I like the music. This
Great.
is like the first one that they
Did you
didn't
get
try
that
to copy.
meme I
the,
sent you? It's like a little
Which
dog
one?
like closing his eyes and rocking back and forth.
Yes.
And he's like, when I hear the Mandalorian thing, he's like, dun, dun, and he's just like rocking back and forth. That's how I feel now. Because the first episode, I was like, music's a little jarring.
It was because he used
The
a lot of
synth
like
and, like-
synthy, and then like it turned into like a lot of brass and trumpets. It kind of felt a little strange.
Only
but
thing
it
I
worked
don't
better.
like
It got better as it went on.
It's
I
like
think.
the
It just
trap
felt better.
drums he uses one episode. It's like, I'm like, shut up.
Or what's the guitar? The weird guitar
That was
riff when
pretty dumb.
when they open the doors and it's like the Mandalorian. It was like an '80s band or something. I was waiting for the hair band to be off in the corner, just,
The
like,
main
playing.
theme's great. It kind of fits.
It's good. It's good. I didn't love it at first, but it's grown on me more.
I think
And-
I'm loving it more.
But yeah, this is one where they didn't actually try to copy John Williams as much. Like the other ones have been like, because they brought in for like Rogue One, who was it, Michael Giacchino.
Sounds the same.
I don't love, but he basically,
Just copied.
well, good for him because he like got brought in like all of us like the last month or something did all the music.
Hey,
so,
get a paycheck, bro.
but
Disney's willing to pay, dude. If Disney paid me last minute just to kind of chalk something up, I'd have been like, sure, I get paid.
but then again, it's like this is Disney and a huge movie, so it's like don't screw that up.
But think
yeah,
about
yeah.
all the money. They will drop money at your doorstep. Just be like,
Hey,
"Here
I'm
you
not
go."
saying I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying it'd be a pressure. Anyway, so he does it, and he kind of sounds a lot like John Williams. And the guy who does Solo does a lot of John Williams. Anything else? What else?
What else?
Even
What
Clone
else?
Wars kind of sounds John Williamsy. Anyway, maybe it's just because they use the themes. But this one really just doesn't have any Star Wars themes, which I kind of wish it did
Yeah.
a little bit. like just kind of the
biggest thing
ones
is like
that are
the
just the general
deserty
ones.
I wish they had like the little like
Dun,
the
dun,
exactly.
dun,
That reminds me of like the
yeah.
but like they like do something different. I don't know. I love the
They do
show. I
something
think it's
different.
great.
It's a good
great.
show. Yeah, the
I
music.
got
So
nothing
what
else to say, bro.
All the characters are cool.
Death Troopers are back. I love how dirty the Empire looks now that they're
I
gone.
like the idea that
They're
the
all, like-
Empire's gone, but there's still factions around.
and they're all dirty and
Yeah.
they're all just grimy
Yeah.
looking
I like
stormtroopers.
that I feel something when a character dies.
Me too.
Because even in like Rise of Skywalker, Chewie blows up, and
I laughed. The second time I was like,
well, you knew it the second time, but the first time I was just like I was like that, and I was like.
the second time it got
Because
to
I forgot
digest
that
more, and
well,
I'm
you
just
told
like,
you said it in a minute because you're like, yeah, they showed Chewie later on in the ship, and I'm like, oh yeah,
yeah, I'm just
lame.
like, great.
But I was like, is that how they killed him?
The first
I'm like,
time watching
really?
it, I looked at him like,
It
if
was
that's
so
how he
weird.
dies, I am going to kill myself.
Yeah, and then you were like, oh, but they show him with Lando.
Saw him with Lando
but
in the trailer.
I thought maybe they could have like changed it up because that's what they'd done with trailers in the past to be like, oh, misdirect, like, you know what I mean? Like
even
they kept,
then,
they
if
took
that's
out
the way he
Hulk and stuff
died,
or
and they
whatever.
just went,
and I was just like,
she's like, Chewie.
Chewie, you electrocuted.
And then
what were
and
you
then
doing?
Finn was like, no, and that was it. No one really
That's-
cared after that.
That's pretty much Finn's character. You could sum up
Oh.
Finn's character in that pretty much. He just
Finn-
runs around screaming.
Finn posted something on Twitter
got
about
so
how
screwed
much
in that
hate he's
storyline.
getting.
I don't know why.
He's like the best thing that came out of that movie.
Well, not
Of
that
these movies.
He just doesn't do anything in that movie, but
I know, but he's probably
could have been
he's
so-
the only one with that's got character.
he's a great character. But they didn't do anything with his character.
Exactly.
Like
How's that
they did
his
it once.
fault?
They did.
People are hating on him. And it
They
makes me
gave him
so angry.
Yeah, they gave him an arc in the first one, and they did the same exact thing, and they just don't do anything with him in the next
He
one.
made a video about it where someone edited him like punching all these comments coming at him. That's pretty great.
I mean, that's dumb. Like I didn't like Rose's character, but I never felt the need
She's
to go
good.
lash out at this human being who just
think
played her
she
the
was a
way that
good
she was supposed to
actress.
play her. Yeah, she's fine.
beginning, like she was acting
Like,
really-
again-
she acted great.
Okay,
Her
Rose
character's
is a fine
dumb.
character. I just don't like even Rose is a fine character. The way they use her and the things she says, it's just I mean that's all up to the writing. That's not the character necessarily. Anyway, it's stupid to attack a human being for playing a character
hard
the
about-
way the director and the story and the producers
It's
want
hard
you
to
to play
talk
it.
about the Mandalorian.
I mean, you
when
got a
we
little
gotta
bit,
talk
but-
about the Rise of Skywalker.
Anyway,
now.
sorry.
I keep on switching over to the
But
Rise of
I
Skywalker.
did feel like even like the Ugnaught, Nick Nolte's character.
I felt sad.
Like he's throughout it, and I didn't expect it, but he gets killed, and he's just laying there. You know, he's just, and that's all you
He's
get.
running
You just get
and-
the kind of the fate, and he's just shot and dead, and you're like,
best
oh,
scene of the whole
he's
TV
dead.
show was the two stormtroopers on their speeders, though. I think
Taika
the
Waititi's
funniest
episode.
thing is when the stormtrooper punches the bag. I laugh so hard just seeing that all the time.
any meme that has that, I'm just.
That's the best thing ever.
I mean, I shouldn't because I think Baby Yoda is super cute or whatever. But
It's so unexpected from a Star Wars
well, the
movie.
first guy's just like kind
He
of
like
smacking it
taps
a little bit. He's
he
like,
goes like a
"Stop it."
full-on punch.
Yeah, well, the guy's like kind of like, don't do that or whatever. He's like, let me see it. And he's
And
like,
he
no.
bites his
And then
finger.
finally he gets to see it, and he's just like, oh.
It's like a full-on punch.
And kill that little baby.
Yeah,
Little
that's
baby.
great.
I assume they're more resilient than a regular baby, being 50 years old and all that. But
Probably.
still,
Any last comments on The Mandalorian
let's see what else.
before we take a break and move on to
What else?
Rise of Skywalker?
No, none of that. I don't know. It's just a good,
got
just a
nothing else,
good,
bro.
simple.
Solid, great.
I'm interested to see where they take Baby Yoda because now
I'm interested to see where this whole
I like-
series is going.
yeah.
I love the idea that they have to take it to these Jedi who
maybe. So
Yeah.
that's my question. Are they planning to take it to Jedi?
I think
Force
so.
sensitive people, or are they going to take them to Yoda's people?
I think it's the
Like that
Jedi because
race.
of what she said, how the Jedi used to be their enemy.
Yeah, which I liked that they brought that up.
It's great. I think I
that's what
think
I'm talking
they wouldn't
about.
have brought it up if that wasn't the case. I think.
With some of the lore, though, I like because they bring in the dark saber, and that's going to be a part of it. So it's
It
the whole
looked
thing
great.
is a part
They
of
do
it.
this. The dark saber. One thing I love about it is like when you look at it, it looks like it's like vibrating really fast. They got that
Yeah.
perfect.
Right. So yeah, I like all the lore of the Mandalorians where it's the whole don't take off because I think it did get because it's basically anybody now. It's kind of more just like a creed now since the I don't know if there's even a Mandalore left really after
No,
Maul. I don't know. We don't know what happened. What Maul did.
Well, it
with
got
that.
corrupt and then
Well,
I
right, for
remember
like
that.
in Clone Wars.
Basically, they went to war. There's like a civil war going
Back-
on in Mandalore.
Okay, you're right, because they had that weird faction.
Yes.
So back in the day,
I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it was just Mandalorians.
Same voice by Jon Favreau was the bad guy.
Yes, was it?
Yes.
Wait, say that
The
again.
bad guy in the Clone Wars was voiced by Jon Favreau.
Oh, was it supposed to be that same guy? I didn't know Jon Favreau.
I don't think
did
it
a
was the
voice.
same guy, but Jon
Jon
Favreau did
Favreau's
the
voice gets around in Star Wars, doesn't
I
it?
can't remember.
He's that
what,
alien in Solo.
What is the creed called?
He's that Mandalorian and Mandalorian. The Mandalorian. He's the weird. But anyway, so I liked how they talked about the ancient stuff, where they like fought the big dragons, and that's where they got that symbol, the Mandalorian symbol of the skull, which is the big Mandalorian. Apparently, Mandalorians are actually from Coruscant. They're actually people from Coruscant who traveled to Mandalore and took that and colonized that place and became Mandalorians there. But anyway, so they killed the dragons, and that's where they got that symbol. And then they fight these huge wars with the Jedi, and they create that armor, the special armor that is like reflective against it's blaster proof and somewhat lightsaber proof.
Yes.
It's lightsaber resistant, let's say. It's like a straight on stab will kill you, but like a glancing slice will probably bounce off.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. So I like all that they bring that in. They're like, back in the day, we had these huge wars. And that's where those dark sabers were, because they stole the dark sabers from the Jedi they killed. Because those are old style lightsabers. But anyway, so they bring it back. And then you go through like the Clone Wars, which is like that weird Civil War thing like you're talking about. And Obi-Wan's love interest, who's like the queen or the senator over there. What is she?
She was like she was the queen, I think.
Or is she the
What is her name?
what's that called? The
She's
prime minister type of thing?
Yeah,
I
she's
don't know.
basically like the leader of Mandalore.
But she's the leader, yeah. And then she gets killed, and then Maul takes over.
Well, the problem
and
was
then
is Mandalore, they wouldn't fight against anything. They were against fighting completely.
Oh, because before that, they were so much into the whole battle thing, and that's what they were known for. So then there was like this fact. They're like, we need to just pull back and be passives.
What was happening? Yeah, they were passives. But what was happening was during the Clone Wars, the Separatists were planning on attacking.
Yeah, and then they had this other group who's like, we need to fight like we used to, and our forefathers.
The Republic, they were trying to defend, and they wouldn't allow it. So they were going to make a deal with the Separatists to avoid fighting and all. Bunch of dummies, if you ask me.
That sounds like, the sad part is that sounds like a real thing that would happen. A real political issue.
Yeah.
How are we at here? So we're about a little over. We're about an hour.
Should we move on?
Yeah. I'm just thinking. But yeah, so and then the Clone Rebels, the Empires have taken over, and there's a certain amount factions of the Mandalorians there that are working with I didn't get to watch it all yet. I watched the end of the second season, the beginning of the third season deals with that, right?
Of what?
The Mandalorian stuff with Sabine. What's her name? She has the dark saber in Rebels.
In Rebels. I thought you were talking about you said the Mandalorian.
No, I said in Rebels, the Mandalorians.
Yes.
So that's what I was trying to, because I haven't finished. I watched like the first episode of season 3, I think, and they're still dealing.
I
with
don't
that.
like Rebels, but I watched it just to get more information. Basically,
It's not bad. There's good episodes.
there's too much like.
There are good episodes throughout.
The
but there's
animation's
a lot of
dumb.
Yeah, I just don't love the animation. But it's similar to Clone Wars.
The lightsabers are like. The thing that bugs
They're like
me is the
needles.
stupid lightsabers look like needles. Stop that.
I don't know why, but anyway, so
So
but some of some of the Mandalorians are working with the Empire.
Yes.
In that, and and some of the factions are trying to win back Mandalore, and that's what they're doing.
Yes.
The rebels are trying to help with. I don't know where that goes. You can tell me if you want, but I don't really care that much.
Doesn't really go.
Do they win?
Yeah. Nah, it doesn't really
I
go
mean, I
anywhere
guess they
that
win
well, but
in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
But so I think at this point, this is where it's been, because Mandalore has been so picked over from the Jedi Wars, and then the Clone Wars, and then now the Empire just tearing it apart and using it for taking all their super precious armor material, metal. I think that's where they are now, is where they're just picking up people, like they're talking the foundling system, where it's just they're like, we'll get these people in, we'll train them how in this mindset, in this creed, and this is in this way. That's where you got you play your thing.
I know.
It's fine.
I was reading.
It's cool.
But
But
the name of the people
I didn't really
who
plan
took
it.
over Mandalore and fought with him is called Death Watch.
Yes,
that's
that's
what I
right.
was looking for. I couldn't
gotcha.
find the
Yeah,
name.
yeah, I remember now. Oh, you could have just asked me. I didn't. No. I remember. Once I hear it, I know it. But so yeah.
Let's move on.
And so I'm just saying, like, we're in this weird spot where it's just like these weird pockets of Mandalorians who come together and try and rebuild what they once were.
But in the Mandalorian,
And that's kind of what the Mandalorian
it's
is.
kind of
never
just
take
like-
off the helmet in front of other people, another living person
said
or
it's
being.
it's a creed.
Yeah. Well, right. And
makes sense.
they take this oath basically of like, I'm going to live this certain way because he does it because he was saved by these people and respects them, I assume. But, or other people have a different reason. They're different people. They're broken people from broken families, orphans, people in bad situations.
Makes sense.
And they're like, I need I have a community. It's kind of like when you join a gang or something, So yeah, I like that. So I like how they introduced that. And so I'm interested to see where they take that, where Yoda goes.
we do see a
blah, blah, blah.
flashback
Yeah,
of
when he's-
these Mandalorians saving him.
Yeah.
But if they were not willing to fight, I wonder if this is Death Watch that ended up saving him, which would kind of be.
What's the symbol on their arm? Did they find out what that? I feel like I
think that
saw
was
that
Death
was
Watch.
Death Watch.
Well, the thing is, if
'Cause
that's
that was
the case,
during
then
Clone
he's
Wars.
gonna. The problem is
You think they'll run into Death Watch?
either that, or I think what's gonna happen is he's not gonna realize that Mandalorian and like all that stuff and Death Watch
Are separate things?
Yeah, kind of.
I feel like he would know, but maybe not. I did like the matriarch, whatever she is, the metal blacksmith lady, the metalsmith.
Yeah,
She was
great.
awesome.
Yeah,
Busts the
That thing.
stormtrooper's helmet apart.
that was the coolest part.
That
of
might be the
episode.
best fight scene.
It was this.
I do like. I mean, everyone said, yeah.
That's Death Watch.
Yeah, that's what I thought because I think someone looked it up and I saw it. I was like, oh, it is Death. But yeah. So I like how the Mandalorian is good, but he's not that good. So he needs his armor. He needs a lot of help. He gets shot and beat up and tossed around a lot. It's good stuff. Do you think what's to come in season 2, Jesse? We'll wrap it up. with this.
Jedi. I think we'll finally see at least
we'll
one
see a
Jedi.
Do you think they did a test? So they kind of did it. They put out Baby Yoda healing someone before the Rise of Skywalker
On
'cause it's
purpose.
on purpose. Right. That's why they put it out. Then when
They're testing the water before the movies come out.
Well, it'd been a little late then. It was like 1 day
Yeah.
before.
Can't do it. Well,
I think they did it to be like, oh, look, little Yoda did it. So
That
now
makes
you won't be
sense.
like, what? Which we still would have been like. You see all those memes where it's like
Obi-Wan,
Anakin and
Qui-Gon
someone.
Jinn's
it's like
the biggest
Obi-Wan,
one.
Qui-Gon. That's the biggest one.
He's like, just freaking force heal me.
He's like, it's okay because I can just force heal you, master, or something. You know what I mean? It's like I
the
like
biggest
that
one
stuff.
was
good stuff.
Samuel L. Jackson. He's like, don't worry, we can just force heal Padme, and that's just the end of the movie.
Don't worry, Anakin. We can just force heal Padme. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, exactly.
It's good.
It's just one. Oh, we'll talk about it. It's just one of those things that just breaks.
That's the thing that
it's like-
J.J. Abrams did in Star Trek.
Yeah, with the blood.
Just give him super blood.
It'll heal anything.
Give him super heal blood.
See, it heals the little what are those called? The what are those furball aliens
I don't
called?
remember.
I can't remember, but it was like a big episode. Anyway, it healed the little fluff ball. I can't.
Oh my gosh, super blood.
Put it into James T. Kirk. Let him live.
Do you remember in the Star Trek movie how they got his name Bones? I thought it was awful. I remember he's in the elevator.
Because
He's like,
they're
my
like in
wife's
that
in a
thing-
divorce, and
like,
she
all I
took
got is
everything
nothing
but my bones. I was like, oh. She took everything but my bones.
What was the real reason that they called him? Like in the
He's
original.
a doctor.
Yeah, wasn't bones another word for like a doctor or something?
That was just the
In-
nickname they gave him, I thought.
Well, I thought it was like a old world. I don't know. You can look it up if you want. But hey, now let's talk about my favorite part of the review, which is, hey, you remember that part? Let me
Okay.
talk about it.
Hey, do you remember that part that
Like a good part. Remember that part where that blue alien was talking about like the evacuation tube of the toilets? It's like the first time we
Ew.
get to see a bathroom in
do
Star
you
Wars.
remember when the
Ew.
blue alien said
I hate that guy.
Life Day?
Oh yeah.
Life Days of-
They talk about it a couple times, don't they? Maybe that's the main one. It's like I gotta get back to my wife for Life Day. It's like ooh. So that whole is the Star Wars Christmas special canon,
Yeah.
all day special.
Probably. or at least some of it. Oh no.
What's his kid's name? Furry?
No.
It's something like that.
Weird.
Flaky.
Flaky.
Chubby.
Chewbacca's son's name.
Holiday special. Chunky.
Lumpy.
Lumpy.
It's Lumparoo.
Yeah, but
Lumparoo, and they call him Lumpy.
But they call him Lumpy. Oh gosh.
Lumparoo.
Gross. That's even worse.
Hey, you remember that part where IG-11 just shot all them people?
When he's flying through, which part? The first?
Both of them.
They're both cool, but the speeder one. Oh, I liked it when they're like, "Come out, and we won't kill you. We'll give you to the end of the day." And then,
just
like from far away, it's just like. It's just like as they move through.
You remember when that TIE fighter wings folded?
That was
cool. Really cool.
Remember when
that was concept art for
the original movie?
The new ones, the Force Awakens.
Probably was it like Kylo Ren's ship or something? Yeah, Kylo Ren got a new like he had that cool weird one. They had like the weird.
Yeah,
I don't know.
One.
That was just gone afterwards.
Who cares about that?
I went back and watched the Force Awakens teaser trailer.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
I know
that teaser trailer where it's just like a bunch of scenes.
I rewatched the
gives
trailer for
me
The
chills.
Last Jedi. That's one of the coolest trailers ever.
That's a good one.
The music and everything.
They even got the J.J. Abrams hand in that.
Dun, 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 dun. That was my favorite one. That's my favorite one, and that movie was.
I think
garbage.
the first one's my favorite because it was just like the first thing we've seen of Star Wars in forever, and it was just like
makes
the
you
creepy.
miss that moment.
And it was like, well, how's it go? It's like
it makes you miss the Force Awakens, don't it?
Have you felt it? And it's like
they need it.
Pops up.
What they need to do is they need to cut
like
what happens.
Super suspenseful
so you
music.
can be like, this is what it was going to look like. Yep, and then nothing happens.
I had so many different ideas on that one. Remembering back,
my
like, what
idea
I was
for this movie is so much better.
I mean, everyone's own idea is
I know,
always so
but
much
like,
better. But
they just did nothing.
And
with
you had
it.
the cool like lightning shots, quick shots of the stormtroopers and the thing getting ready, and then the doors like. And it's got the really fast. And then what else you get? You get the new
snow.
speeders.
My favorite shot was always.
And then when it's like the dark side and the light, and he's like,
and he pulls up
in the snow. Yeah. And I was like, what are they gonna do with this thing? Because that's like a deleted scene from when they fight in the snow. But it was totally different than what I thought. Because he's still wearing his hood and he seems like he's not hurt.
The Force Awakens feels like a whole nother thing. It just feels like nothing's connected to the Force Awakens. Like the Rise of Skywalker and The Last Jedi. It just feels like not even connected to the Force Awakens at this point. Anyway,
okay.
Do you remember the part where I'm just going back to our thing?
I remember the part where that R2 unit stood up and was like a whole human.
Oh my
person.
gosh, she was like a ripped R2D2. What's
it
up?
Well, it was like a normal one. I was like, okay, that makes sense because they had him earlier where it's just like the barge owners, but for some reason he's just like, and I was like, oh my gosh, why do? And R2's like got snubbed this whole time.
Remember
like,
that ATST?
Hey,
that was
R2,
like,
you could have these huge arms and legs, but we're just gonna give you those little rollers. It's fine.
You'll be fine.
I'd like to see R2 just like have the arms and just go like run through some droids and destroy.
Do you
them,
remember the part where? Oh man, no, I already just forgot. I just said
Stormtroopers.
Is that what I said?
You started with the Stormtroopers. I don't know.
I don't think that's what I started.
Remember the part where they had the big
Oh, now I remember.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you remember the part with the ATST with war paint?
Do I remember that
from the Mandalorian? The ATST with the war
yeah,
paint on it?
It's the red eyes.
That was so cool.
That was actually that episode was really cool.
Felt
because,
like Jurassic Park.
Well, it was actually. I was like, this is kind of. Like, they made ATST really scary.
I know. That was pretty sweet.
Where were the guys? Why couldn't you see their heads? Like when Chewie's in
what
there,
I
you
was
can like see
thinking.
them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not, but that's a cool scene. And I liked the ep scenes where he's like just talking to this lady. He's just like for 10 minutes just talking to her about why he won't take out his helmet.
Yeah, it was good.
Those are good development scenes. Anyway.
Do you remember?
My turn. Do you remember those little monsters that they ride, that the Ugnaught rides?
Oh, the
Nick
fish
Nolte?
the
fist
dinosaurs.
Lizards. Yeah.
Do you remember?
And they attack him, and he's like getting torn apart. And then he like tries to ride one like a weird western, and he can't do it. And then he's like, and he gives him like a little pep talk, and then all of a sudden he can ride. He can like.
Yeah, that
was like the worst. That was one of the cringier
Do you remember the weird creature with the horn that he had to fight, and how good that looked?
The mud horn.
That
thing looks good. That furry rhino.
Remember
with the furry egg?
Remember that they all did was just took the egg and then they ate it. That was disgusting.
Why was it not like an embryo more?
That's what I was wondering. It's just like soup.
Unless it was just laid. I guess.
Maybe.
Or it wasn't fertilized?
Hmm?
Do the mudhorns work like birds or fish then? Because do they lay the
I bet
eggs and they
Wikipedia
have to
tells
be?
us that, but-
Do they have to be fertilized by another?
Yeah, sure. You were right
Are
about
they-
Bone's name, though. It's because sawbone, 19th century American
I
term
was
for
gonna
doctor.
say because I thought it was like because that's what that makes sense.
Because his wife took everything
No, because his wife took everything but his bones. I mean, and his skin, and his
and
hair, and
everything, his clothes,
his
probably.
organs, and
Yeah, his job.
His clothes. Well, see, I think he got a new job because it seemed like
Probably
he was
good.
enlisting there. That's why he's like older.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for the Mandalorian. Great season.
we'll
I'm
finish talking
super excited.
about-
Do you think they're gonna bring Boba Fett in for the villain next time?
Probably not.
I don't know, man.
I
feel
hope
like
not.
he'd make a cool villain because he's like a not really a Mandalorian.
I kind
He's
of
just
like.
wearing it, and he'd be like,
So-
"You don't deserve that armor," and he'd be like, "Come get it," or whatever, you know.
I hope that
Give me
they
that
don't-
baby.
They just trip and both kill themselves on something.
Well,
because they're so clumsy.
well, at least Boba Fett does.
Oh, man, they fight beside
Wouldn't
a
it be
Sarlacc
funny if they
pit
just
and
make
both
him a
fall
big
in.
joke?
That would be hilarious.
Like Boba Fett shows up there, and you think he's gonna be real tough, but he just kind of like stumble. He's like he just like stumbles on the
There's
things.
a deleted scene or a episode they didn't get to use that was supposed to come out the last season of the Clone Wars, where Boba Fett has his armor and he
Right.
fights.
I remember that.
What's his face? He's got the long
The-
hat. They do like a
I like
shoot off,
him.
like it's a western. Where
I'd like to see him come back.
That was really sweet, and I'm like, maybe
He'd still be alive, right? Would that be it'd just be another 30 years, right? He'd be
no.
really old.
No, he
gets
Boba
killed,
Fett's
though.
killed him.
But that episode never aired, so I don't think it's canon.
Maybe not.
Canon.
I don't think it's.
I don't
canon.
think it's canon. I don't. Yeah. Okay, let's end this thing and let's take a break so we can test all our stuff and make sure it's not failing on us.
Yes.
Back into it.
Now
let's just-
down to the meat of the episode.
Well, it's the very end, so let's not talk too long about it.
Oh no!
We've been going
But
like
Tyler.
We've been talking about an hour
the
and a half.
Rise of Skywalker.
We talked about it already. We're just gonna
I'm never gonna not talk about it.
exactly why we don't need to talk about it too much right now. Just a little bit, just a thought of like Star
revisit.
Wars as mostly Rise of Skywalker, but because of in light of Rise of Skywalker, I should say. How is the new trilogy? You know, how is Star Wars at this moment in time? Like, how does it feel? What do you like about
Creatively bankrupt.
it? Yeah. That's something. Yeah, a lot of people have used.
I would say.
Again,
they shot themselves in the foot with this sequel trilogy.
Yes and no. I mean,
Money.
I don't know if they had a plan.
They didn't. It's come out like people are saying that they
That's
didn't.
what they're
And
saying.
then Disney
I
is coming
don't
out saying,
know
"Oh,
who's-
we definitely have." I mean, come on,
Like,
man. We'd have a
This
plan.
was
Who
the-
wouldn't have
like
a plan?
this was the structure all along, and it doesn't make any sense. If that was the structure, someone did it badly.
I was gonna say you can tell it wasn't the structure because if it was,
I mean,
I mean,
some things
come
changed.
on.
Some things changed as far as like Carrie Fisher's death, kind of shifting things around. Okay, I get that, but something like where it's like,
but they had these
okay,
things already in
let's
place.
Kill Snoke, and then all of a sudden,
Let's kill Luke.
Palpatine. Like I would have accepted it if they had rumors of Palpatine earlier, even in Force Awakens.
Force
Been like
Awakens.
there's something going on, or like have Snoke say there's someone greater than you know what I'm saying, like my master, like
Nothing.
just a little subtle thing of just
Nothing.
like there seems to be something wrong. Because I think it works. I said in the last review, it didn't get to go up, but I think it works because Palpatine is the villain has been the villain,
Yeah.
I should say,
They just
in
did
the
it
last
wrong.
two trilogies.
Didn't set it up. In the first 5 minutes
it's
of the
just
Rise
like,
of Skywalker,
oh,
it was like
surprise.
I mean, you're watching Rise of Skywalker. It's like there's a transmission. The Emperor Palpatine, he's back.
That you have, if you didn't play Fortnite, you will have no idea that
Exactly.
it is.
That scene
Like,
that we watched. Somehow Palpatine's back.
yeah, Poe.
Yeah.
He's back. Wait, how did he get back? Doesn't matter.
Well,
Somehow
he
he's
said,
back.
That's what he said. He said Palpatine's
Well, where
back
did he come
somehow.
from? I thought he
he
was
says
dead.
like somehow.
Look, we don't know how he came back. He's just on this planet. But why did he get from that planet? He was just on the Death Star. I feel like this would have been a perfect scene for Monty Python to spoof, where it's just like, it's like the guy who's like, he's back. And then you have all these voices just like, well, it's like the scene, the witch scene.
Palpatine returned.
Why did he get back there? How did he get back? I thought he blew up on the Death Star. Well,
Somehow Palpatine's returned.
he did.
sounds
He
so
did
out
die.
of
He did
it.
blow up on the Death Star. But he said he was on his planet.
Somehow
He was been on his
Palpatine
ships.
returned.
Well, enough of that.
Yeah. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that'd been the perfect bit. You know, like, what? You know, like all these people, like, well, what about this and what about that? No, it's just don't ask
I'm ready
questions.
for how it should have ended to come out.
Yeah, I'm just ready for Mr. Plinkett's review. That's the
That's
one.
gonna be the longest Mr.
That's
Plinkett
my-
too.
that's
The Force
my,
Awakens was like an hour and something. I'm just so
and
ready
then the
for
Last Jedi was that's a good one. They're all like
So
really
good.
This will complete his trilogy.
If
But,
you ever watch Red Letter Media, just sit down and talk about this movie.
It's
It's
a good
so
one.
satisfying because they say all the things that we all really want to say.
Yeah, I can't remember all the things, but I'll probably parrot a lot of those things because it's in my head. But
It's so good.
it's just basically, yeah. I mean, one of the biggest things they bring up is just like, because I didn't even think about it, because the way it's structured, it's meant to you're just meant to like shut off your brain. If you shut off your brain and just go, and just nod the whole time
Yeah.
and be like, yeah, you can have a good time. Like, I enjoy parts of this movie, and I
don't
enjoyed
remember-
it. Okay,
I don't
the
remember
movie has-
who said
I had
it.
a lot of questions.
Some
but-
YouTuber, I can't remember. He said, if you went into this theater with a TV remote to pause,
Yeah,
you would come out hating this movie.
right. Or if you played at half speed.
Yeah. Have more time to figure things out. I mean,
It would make some things better, but it would just make it so like, wait, what?
But that's the thing they're doing here is they're
Yeah.
just like,
It's a tricking your. I don't know if
I'm
they're
just gonna
meaning
grab
to,
everything and I'm just gonna drop it on you.
but- Yeah, I mean
And
that's
you're
what I'm
gonna,
saying.
You're not gonna be able to catch it all at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. If you just go in, like I think that's what it's meant to do. It's just meant to be, just keep moving, keep moving. Don't let them think about it. Just keep moving, and
Yeah.
you can have a good time if you just. It's one of those. If you shut off your brain and just watch,
Shut off your brain movies can be great. Like
You
Pacific
can-
Rim is great.
sure, and it can work. But it can kind of work. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but it kind of worked. But if the moment you sit back and think, it's like,
Doesn't make
well, wait a
sense.
minute, where did that come from? It's like, why did we need that character? It's like, we went here, and how many places did we go? There's 10 planets in this movie. Oh, okay, geez. What is that place again? Who cares? It's like, again, we talked about it already a little bit. Mandalorian review, but it's just like this thing, then this thing. Don't go back and do that thing. But you didn't have this thing. Oh, this guy, the First Order stole it. Got to go up there, get it, bring it back down, find it, put it in the spot.
It's dumb.
I'm surprised. And then they got the knife, and that's a whole thing. And it's like, did this didn't shift at all in the midst of this ocean? Like,
Is it
didn't
annoying?
get worn away?
Is
so
it
doesn't
annoying
match
that
up perfectly?
why not make the knife like a key?
Yeah, I mean, that
Or
makes
just
sense.
write it on a piece of paper. Go to this spot.
Why couldn't Luke find this thing? Why did he give up?
Because
Him
they
and
didn't
Lando
fall
were
through
there.
the beans.
That's another thing. Shouldn't that? Why is that a tunnel? When
And why
it should
did they
be
not
collapsed?
Why did they not see the beans from a mile away? They're just like
reason-
running, and then they're there, and they're like, "Oh,
Why
wait a
aren't these
second!
beans
There's black
filling,
beans
why aren't
everywhere."
these beans filling these open spaces underneath the apparently fluid beans?
Dumb.
That's
Fluid.
not how excavation works or tunneling works.
Dumb beans is what I'm
Mining? I
gonna
don't
tell
know.
you, man.
Because because it should be like, it's the whole physics thing where it's just like, it should
I
be filled up.
saved
I don't
a
know.
bunch of like.
It's weird.
I wrote down a bunch of my thoughts on my phone, but I don't have my phone on me, so it's over there. It's fine.
I feel like you don't have them like saved to
No,
like a
I
folder
forgot to do
or
that.
something, a notes.
My biggest thing I'm thinking about with this movie though is the plan that
What was Palpatine's plan?
it doesn't.
We talked about.
There's
it a little
no
bit.
plan. There is no plan.
Well, let's recap what Palpatine's plan is in the movie.
Well, here's my thing.
What happens?
He, from the beginning, he
Yeah.
creates Snoke,
But it's a tank full of Snokes.
or just a clone, or just a random
Snoke tank.
Also, why make him? I don't remember who said this.
It was the
Jenny Nicholson.
I don't like her, but
She said, "Why would you
least-
make him an ugly?"
sorry, I should say I don't
Matt Smith should
dislike
have
her.
been.
I just think, yeah, right. Well,
Anyway.
that was the thought that he was actually right. Well, you said that, right? You mentioned
Yeah,
that.
he was
That was
supposed
the
to be.
idea. Maybe it was you. Maybe it was someone else. But that he was the younger version. Like he gets.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an older version, but they just wanted more. Ian McDermott, but they're just, and then he gets put into a new body. He's like, it's me, the Emperor.
Okay, but anyway, through these movies,
Yes.
starting at The Force Awakens, if you think about after seeing them all, this is the way the plan works out. Is Snoke was supposed to
Who's the
seduce
clone?
Kylo Ren.
Yes. Which he did, apparently.
He does. Now what? He
Well,
does, but
he
the
does
whole
and he
point.
doesn't, because Luke is the one who kind of forces Kylo Ren's hand. Like, maybe he was fine. What if he probably would have been fine if Luke hadn't messed around with him?
Yeah.
Anyway.
What happened, though, was he bridged Rey and Kylo Ren's minds, which is not true because after...
Apparently not.
Because
Because
apparently
they were not
he
strong
didn't
enough
know.
to do that.
Also, he didn't know.
Who didn't know?
When Kylo Ren
Palpatine
shows
didn't know.
up, he's like, oh,
Snoke
your
says
bond
he did
is
it.
making...
Well, how much control... Because this just brings up more questions. Like, how much control does Palpatine have over Snoke? Like, does he just feed him power and no information from him? Or
because
he kind of
also
does his own thing?
Could he
Just
do
has a
something
general
else?
thing
Could
that he
he
needs to do?
overthrow Palpatine?
I do doubt it, because he's not
It just doesn't
powerful,
make
but-
sense because he bridges their minds, apparently.
Yeah,
Snoke's
which is
dead.
apparently super strong, and they couldn't do on their own.
Snoke's dead. It's been a couple years. All of a
Sure,
sudden,
however long it
he's broadcasting that he's been making a fleet.
The Emperor, yes.
So during all this, he's been making a fleet of Star Destroyers.
Somehow. How is he making these? Who is making them? Because, like,
30
they have
years has
huge-
passed. So he would have to be...
But
just-
are they? Do they have, like, where are they making
make
them and then
sense.
bringing them to Exegol? Or
But
because
no
like
one
some
knew
people have
about
said,
it.
like, is the Emperor like willing them into existence by the Force?
Exactly,
It's like,
because
wh-
no one
who
knew
is doing
about it.
Right.
And those people that would have to be working
There's
there
like 1,000
would have to be
people.
would have to be 30 years old, basically, because they were
Yes.
stealing them as children.
Something like that.
So you would have to raise them to know how to
and
do all this
How
stuff.
many ships do you think there were? Like 100?
They said like
300?
10,000, which
10,000?
doesn't make sense.
Was it
Because in one shot you see 100, some of them just
right? I mean, you
in
can't
one
show
shot.
them all. I was just trying to
Yeah.
think of an idea of how many I thought I remember
dumb.
seeing, like 300, 500. But
But-
then there's like 2,000 people per Star Destroyer.
more.
Like something like that. Well, it's something crazy. Like you can look up the numbers. It's all in like Wikipedia or whatever. Like this is how many people it takes to run a Star Destroyer. You know what I mean? Like this is the standard crew for a Star Destroyer. It's like 2,000 something. It's something crazy. But they have to have that. So 10,000 or whatever it is, 500, 1,000 Star Destroyer. I don't know what it is, but multiplied by 2,000, and that is a large amount of human beings, or whomever's. I assume they're human beings because the Empire doesn't like aliens because they're racist against aliens forms.
Anyway, but
So
he bridges their minds.
crazy.
But from this movie, it seems as if he wanted Snoke to find him. And once Snoke found him, he wanted to seduce, or not Snoke, Kylo Ren to
Ren.
find him. Once
'Cause he
and
sent out this
seduce Kylo Ren,
message.
and then he wanted Kylo Ren to hunt down Rey and kill her.
yes.
But
Okay.
from what it seems like, he wanted Rey to come try to fight, so
Later on,
Rey could
that was his plan.
strike her down, and then he could possess her body.
Because when she gets there, he's like, I always wanted you to come here. It was always my plan. So that's his plan. But previously, before Kylo Ren gets there, he has his kid somehow, when he's all nasty. And then, so was it the dad? That's his son?
The dad.
I think it was
yes,
his dad. So
it
his
was the
dad runs away, and maybe he's not force sensitive because, like, why not get his body?
He hires someone to kill him.
Yeah, and he's hired someone to kill him, and supposedly he's like, "Oh, I never wanted to kill you." Like he thought she was supposed to die then too, but maybe he did, and he's just saying that. I don't know. Maybe his plan changed, but it was just never clear. So his thought was, "Oh, he really wanted her to bring her there when she was younger, but she gets away, or that guy gets killed, or whatever it was. I can't remember." And then Kylo Ren comes. He's like, "Well, but actually, I really want you to kill her." And then she comes back. He's like, "But I never really wanted you to kill her." So I don't understand what his point was. Just say, "Bring her to me,"
Why bring Kylo Ren
like
with
Darth
you?
Vader and Luke.
So what? Then why even get Kylo Ren to do this?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what was the point? Unless
doesn't make sense.
Unless he knew, and this is just going to be super dumb. Unless he was like, okay, if I get Kylo Ren to get her, then she'll be like, oh, I got to go kill this Emperor now because I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. I think that's the problem.
Well, I don't know.
The final
This whole thing doesn't make sense, and they never
J.J. Abrams
explain.
is not good at writing his own material.
Well,
or directing his own writing. Writing.
He's
not
a
good
good
writer.
He just can't write, or at least he
So
can't
let's
write
get
that
J.J.
much.
Abrams and the guy who wrote Batman v Superman to finish this off.
And Justice League.
Oh, that's even worse.
Probably something bad. Probably like Transformers 2. Who knows?
Let's get those two guys in a room.
come together.
Magic will happen.
The movie looked good.
Don't.
Looked good.
Did it though?
It looked cool. There were
It
cool
looks,
shots
it
in it.
looks cool.
I
Some
think-
of it.
I think it was well shot and looks
Yeah.
cool.
J.J. Abrams is a great director. He
He
visually
knows, like, again, like, I thought The Last Jedi looked good. I just didn't agree with a lot of the stuff that he wrote. But again, it's a similar thing. Even
I think
that,
the people at Disney don't
I think,
know
but,
Star
yeah,
Wars.
I think this is a worse movie as a movie than Rise of Skywalker is.
The
'Cause
Last
I
of
think
Jedi, you mean?
Last Jedi. The
I
Rise of
agree.
Skywalker is a messier movie than the
Technically.
Return of Last Jedi.
Technically, The Last
Because
Jedi
I think
is
The Last
better.
Jedi is a pretty well made, besides some story
Movie.
stuff and plot stuff. I think it's a well made movie. I think it looks great. Obviously,
And that's how you film.
I just
and
don't
you
like- I just didn't
structure
like the
and
story.
You edit. That's how you edit and do all this stuff.
Yeah, I didn't like
'Cause
the
As a
writing.
whole, it makes sense.
yeah. But this one is just so messy story wise, and it's. At least I could follow along Last Jedi. This one, I mean, you can follow along in this one, but it's just so like, just so much stuff. that they're-
I think so much was riding on this sequel trilogy. Who's gonna care about Star Wars movies at this point? Who wasn't already a Star Wars fan?
Yeah.
The general audience is gonna be out now. This one made the less.
think?
This one did not make
it
as
made
much
less
as the
than
Last
like
Jedi.
everything, except for maybe Solo.
Yeah, it didn't make any money.
Maybe
basically.
no, I think it made less than Rogue One also.
It's dumb.
But except for Solo, basically, it's
So
like it's not
say
doing
general
poorly,
audience,
it's
they
still
shot
doing well.
themselves in the foot.
I still think they're going to
who are
do
you
well.
making
but-
movies for now? You should be making movies for fans.
and I think they did that.
That's all that Star Wars has ever been,
But-
really.
Yeah, my thought was, like I said it before, because I just can't. I got to put aside one or the other thing, like as a fan, as a someone who likes movies in general. And this is not a good movie, and it's really not a very good. It's weird. It's just way more of like, oh, let's please the. They tried to please everybody
Here's the problem.
and ended up pleasing pretty much nobody. It seemed like.
Well, the thing
Some
is
people,
like
but
the
not
fan
everybody.
service parts, they're not even good.
Well, that's what it is. It's like you went this far, and it's like, okay, that's cool, but you didn't go the extra step that you needed to go, or you didn't go too far. I don't know.
It's just
they
the
went
movie,
really far,
to
and they're
me,
like, you should have went a little further, and it would have been even at least go one way or the other. You just
this
kind of in
movie's
between,
just a
like
nothing.
a blah,
It's just
blah, blah.
nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing to get new people to come watch it. It's nothing for the fans to go crazy over. It's just nothing. It's just let's go right down the middle.
Yeah.
They're like it's gonna be the first gay couple in a thing. It's nothing. No one
No,
cares.
it's not.
No one. It's nothing.
It's not in Singapore.
It's not saying anything. It's not trying to do anything new. It's just nothing. It's
Blah.
just scenes for the sake
This will
of.
please people.
This is just. They're just scenes for moving from one place to another. That's
So-
all it is.
So progressive.
It's
And
dumb.
It's right, and it's just the whole story. I don't know. Like again,
I think it's this sequel trilogy
Because
is such
I
a
would've-
missed
yeah.
opportunity for what could have been something that was better than the prequels.
yeah. Are
It
they
could have
better
been.
than the prequels?
No, way no.
I don't know. In some ways, I like them.
No.
In some ways, I like them better.
What, the prequels?
I like the characters. The characters are done better
And this?
than the prequels, I think.
Oh, well, I like the prequels way
I mean,
more.
they did them bad in this one. Like they failed with like they didn't really do anything with it. The characters themselves were more interesting to me, but they didn't do anything interesting with them. At least they did more interesting
I
things
100%
in
agree
the
with you.
prequels.
Like a stormtrooper that leaves
Yeah.
the Empire because it's immoral, something because his friend got shot, but
Yeah,
then
and,
continues
like,
to
they
shoot
had the
millions
cool-
of stormtroopers.
Like that very first, yeah, right. And they even bring in that whole tribe of like ex stormtroopers.
I just thought about it's.
Whoa.
He is a stormtrooper who does not want to kill because, or is against killing, but then ends up leaving
Well,
the Empire to kill.
I assumed it
stormtroopers.
wasn't just, you kill people that you need to, but he just kills them so willy nilly.
Yeah, and he gets
Just like-
excited like the.
Woo!
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you
Whoa.
should be like
He
trying
turns
to
him
convert,
into a
You
psychopath.
should be trying to convert stormtroopers. Like, isn't that the best way to go if you're a part of the rebellion? Is
Imagine
to,
if
like,
that
get
would've been-
people to be like changing. What if?
Imagine a character
What
arc
if
for
he
Finn
had a-
would have been.
okay, go ahead.
He tries to save some
Yeah.
stormtroopers.
Him
they
and
turn, and then he
Jana, what
it's
was it?
Jana.
Him and Jana or like this whole tribe of stormtroopers. Like, what if they got into like? Sorry, I cut you
No,
off.
go ahead.
You continue first.
Well, I was
and
gonna
then
say
I'll go.
a character arc would be him running away from the Empire
Makes sense.
because he doesn't want to kill.
Yeah, and then he doesn't want to fight in the rebellion at all. But then so that'll be at the end of that one. But you have to space it out more because he basically learns, but I still need to fight for my friends or something like that. And he has his whole arc, and they do the same thing with him again.
And I think
he tries to run away.
Him dying in The Last Jedi would have been a perfect arc for him.
He only cares about Rey, but then he realizes, I can't just run away anymore. I need to fight for something, or nothing is going to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the final one maybe would be
him fighting,
you're
or
going.
him trying to save either the stormtroopers and still trying to fight.
Yeah, what if the rebellion, instead of just like fighting them, what if they also sent out like propaganda or like some kind of messages like, listen, stormtroopers, you've been captured since you were like, I was once a stormtrooper. Me and Jana, this whole tribe, we were once stormtroopers, but we realized this is not, we're just, we're just robots. We don't, what about fight for what's right rather than what you're being told to fight for?
Should have been
and I
that
feel
way.
like that would have been a huge, like, maybe not all of the stormtroopers.
I think
they dropped their weapons. What if they dropped the weapons and just took off their helmets? Like, take off your helmets with me. And what if they kept Captain Phasma around? Like, she was a cool character. And then they just waste her twice.
I think twice.
Literally.
I think
they knocked her out in the last one. They knocked her out in
the best thing that's come out of this entire sequel trilogy is Kylo Ren.
Yeah,
easily. He's a great character. He has a full character arc.
He's got an arc.
Exactly. You're invested into him in the very first movie because of, his parents and everything.
Yeah, you've got a tie.
And then they do something different with his character each movie. It seems like a full character arc. Rey got the worst treatment. She's a girl who wants to know who her family is and lives on a desert planet, to a girl who knows who her family is but still lives on a desert planet.
But also doesn't choose to have her family. I don't know. She wants to know who she is, and then she doesn't even end up taking who she is, like owning it. And
her arc should have been
Skywalker.
that she
Rey
is so crazy about knowing who she is that it ends up not mattering who you are. It's mattering who you choose to be.
Yes.
That should have been
so
that's her character.
The first
but her
one
arc was not.
Who is she? She's probably someone special. Then Rian Johnson was like, it doesn't matter who you are. You can be nobody and still have.
I think that's a great idea.
I think that's okay. All right.
I like that.
I don't
idea
like
a lot.
Broom Boy that much, but
that doesn't. It's dumb.
I think that's not bad that she's nobody.
But then
I never felt like that was a thing.
The reason she didn't have a full arc is because JJ was like, but she is important to she's a Palpatine.
But it turns out she is a Palpatine.
So she's worried that she doesn't belong to someone important.
But then she doesn't.
Then she is related to someone bad, and then she's just back at square one of being like, well,
I'm actually nobody.
Well, crap.
I don't know. I almost wish she would have just embraced the Palpatine name, or she would have just embraced nobody. Like, I just
imagine at the end she just I'm no one. She said it just like at the beginning,
and then that would still follow on from the
she would
Last
just be
Jedi.
back at square one. She would just been she's alone.
She would know who she
in
was.
a desert.
It would be her choice though at this point to be nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like at first it was not her choice, and that's not what she wanted. But through this whole growth, it could have been her choice to be like, you know what, I'm not Palpatine. I choose to be Rey. Like, because throughout the whole thing, she's like, they have that weird little alien girl who's like, but what's your last name, lady? I want to know your last name.
It was like, so dumb.
I get what they were trying to do, but it was so obvious.
She wants to know what your last name is.
She wants to know what your family name is. And I think at the end,
the kid like
because
Baby Yoda.
there's several of those points where it's like, you're Rey, you're nobody. But it's like, and she's not happy about it. And then this kid's asking her, what if she just like, what if she accepted the nobody thing because she was a Palpatine and she didn't want it? She didn't accept that. And she's like, I'm just Rey. I am who I am, you know? I am
what
who
if
I
she
choose
said,
to be.
who are you? And she just said, I'm Rey.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's it.
That would have been
just
better for me, I think.
She'd be like, Rey who?
I don't know where this...
Listen, lady, I don't have to be anybody.
Were you following me, old lady? Like random old lady who showed up out of nowhere? Who are you?
Also,
that was so weird. Like all of a sudden, who are you? Who are you? Where are you living here now? Which apparently she's not. I don't know, but
she said like people haven't lived here in forever.
People haven't been here forever. Who are you?
We just saw this place in the Mandalorian though.
What if she was like, I'm Rey, and she's like, Rey, what's your fan? And she's just like, just Rey. You know, that I feel like that would have been like an acceptance of like,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I choose to be nobody. I've accepted
Poe
this
didn't.
situation.
Poe wasn't a character either. He was kind of
No,
well, he
not
kind of was. In the Last Jedi, they kind of gave him character a little.
They gave
bit.
him like, all of a sudden he's like this.
Well,
guy.
the thing was, is like in the Last Jedi or the last one when Leia dies, he has to kind of come up to be in the ranks, and he doesn't know how to take charge.
Yeah, and then
which
he's
is
still
kind of
nobody
interesting.
in this one.
But then it's just that's it.
I mean, she makes him the general, but I don't feel like he really lead. He's just kind of like. I guess he leads him there, which I don't.
Here's a question.
I don't know.
So what is?
Hold on.
Does this?
If we're gonna talk about Poe, I mean, I don't know. Do you feel like it was weird that all of a sudden he was like, "Whoa, what are you doing all this smuggler stuff? Like, where did that come from?" And he's like, all of a sudden,
What's also?
I don't know what point in his life he had
in
this
the
moment.
comics
because
he's the son of people who are really high up in the rebellion. Yeah,
rebellions. People in the
we are rebellions.
Rebels. They meet at the Battle of Endor, right, or something like that.
Yes.
And they have him, and he just grows up in the rebellion. So I don't know what point he was like off doing this weird smuggling stuff. Like he's always been in the rebellion. So I feel like that would make. I don't know. It's just they were trying to give him some kind of new arc to give him more of a character, but he didn't really have that.
So the sequel trilogy kind of ruins Luke.
I don't like it, but
well,
some people
it
like
doesn't. It means that like the arc and the character of Luke in the original trilogy is kind of just like pointless
and
because
Darth
he's gonna,
Vader.
Exactly.
Maybe people have pointed this out already.
Well, you think so at the end of also the Battlefront, he's looking for a compass to get to Octu.
Yes.
To find the first temple.
Yeah. Which apparently he does.
So he goes there, and then he starts the Jedi Temple. It gets
not there though.
Or no, but he gets it gets destroyed.
Books or something. I don't know.
And then Kylo betrays him, and he goes to exile. Great, that's cool. That's good for his character.
I don't mind that. Yeah.
But then to basically,
I don't like the way they did it.
Yeah,
but
basically he's like,
I'm okay with that.
Forget
situation.
the Jedi. It's over with.
Which
I'm
I
cutting
still
myself
like.
off. But
I still
then
get
he
it.
comes back to. He's like, okay, the Force is probably right, and then he helps in the Last Jedi. Then he's just happy Dory in.
Right. Everything.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Well,
It doesn't
he
make
did
sense.
learn a lesson.
Yes,
in The
but
Last
it's a
Jedi.
lesson that he's already learned.
Well, I just don't know. I don't know.
It's not adding anything new to his character. It's just redoing basically the same thing.
Like, you could take that scene where he catches a lightsaber and is like, this is the most important thing. Like, you could take that either as a screw you to
Ryan Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Or you could take it as, okay, but that was his growth in the last movie. So he's like back to, he's like,
yes,
I did the wrong thing last time, but this is an important thing now. I realize now it's an important thing. They're part of that. Part of Luke's thing that I like. Like, I like the idea that he's like, yeah, the Jedi were arrogant, and in their arrogance and their power, and they were blinded by. Darth Sidious was able to rise and take over.
Well,
like,
one
that makes
other thing
sense.
is that's probably the best scene of The Last Jedi, because that scene.
I like those scenes.
Also, I mean,
just didn't
the
care for all
Jedi
of it.
are kind of they're bad people.
Well, they're just arrogant, and they're like power hungry at some point.
I mean,
like any other
they're
system, like any system.
They're for peace and everything, but look at these guys waging wars and fighting.
They had no conflict for like thousands of years, right?
Exactly.
1,000 generations of whatever. For thousands of years, they didn't, because what was it? The Old Republic. That's really where they had this big, huge conflict, and eventually they defeated the Sith, and they were just went into hiding.
That stuff in The Last Jedi is very interesting to me.
Yeah, I like that.
And there's some really good stuff in The Last Jedi.
They just didn't. I just feel like they didn't touch. I just didn't get the point. I get the point, but they didn't really like. Well, why should we bring back the Jedi? Because you should be remembered as a myth character, I guess, and keep hope alive. Or
even
something?
Yoda was kind of like.
They are what we grow beyond. Yeah. We are what they grow beyond.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. I don't know what that means.
Sure,
for
Yoda.
Sure. Like, what does that mean? Like, I don't know. I'm not certain what that means. What he means by that, I guess. I could infer something.
I think in hindsight, I think The Last Jedi is probably better than The Rise of Skywalker.
In some ways. I might like Rise of Skywalker a little bit more.
There's more interesting stuff in there that they've done. and The Last Jedi, then to me, The Rise of Skywalker is just nothing. It's just a bunch of nothing scenes.
It's just a lot, and it ends up being nothing. Yeah, it's a lot of.
That's how I feel. And then The Last Jedi at least tried to take a stand and do something, and it actually made sense.
I think they should have gone further and just had just have Force Ghost. It's not that hard. Like that scene, that comic scene that person redid with like they actually show up behind her and they're like holding.
But would that make the movie better though?
I would like it better.
I mean,
think
that would make that scene better, but overall, the movie would just be
maybe not the movie itself, but I think it would encompass the rest of the series
saga. It might make the saga better.
I think it would encapsulate more. If you have Anakin help her up, be like, I don't know.
Sense.
And then Luke on the other side. But I heard that they didn't do that. Something was like because they wanted to see the twins together. J.J. Abrams wanted to see the twins. So Luke and Leia specifically. It's like, why can't you have them both? Like, put them together, fine. But why can't you have
There's
Qui-Gon
people say that, like, so
Yoda
Ahsoka, they
and-
actually had
Ahsoka,
that girl in costume, though.
I don't know.
Why have her in costume just to have her say something?
But I think they may have had that idea, but they were just like, that's what I don't understand. Like
That's why I think The Last Jedi is probably better.
That's why I'm saying you've gone this far. Just take the extra step.
That's why
and just go full on fan.
That's also why I say The Last Jedi is better, is because The Rise of Skywalker just didn't do anything with it. They kind of just are like,
I mean,
they hinted at something and then they just didn't go through with it.
Yeah,
The Last Jedi at least did something, tried to do something, and ended up going
maybe
through
it didn't.
with
It didn't go well the way I liked it.
It's not great. But
I don't like it, but
I mean, I don't like it, but I still think that The Last Jedi is probably a better movie.
you could have kept Luke alive. Apparently, that ship flies.
Also, I think, to be totally honest, I think The Last Jedi, to me, could have been way better if Luke showed up for real at the end.
Yeah, I
and
think
he was.
so.
He
Didn't
showed up
die.
in the X-wing.
I
at
don't
the
think
end.
he should have died yet.
I think if he showed up at the end,
I don't know. Maybe.
it would have been better.
Yeah, I think so.
I think the reason I don't like The Last Jedi is because of what they've done to Luke's character.
Yeah. Well,
And when
that's
I
what-
look
that's
at
the same thing.
the Rise of Skywalker, you look at it
That's
as a
the
whole,
kind of-
it's
that's-
just a mess.
But that Luke at the end, I think feels like that's the Luke I wanted to see. And yeah, I know he goes through a transition, but if even that one point where he's like, "Oh, I gotta kill Kylo Ren," that's kind of the point where I'm like, that doesn't feel like Luke.
I mean, there's a lot in. Well, something I didn't notice is they show
Or why he would go to
they
die.
show that scene
I don't know.
3 times in 3 different
It's
perspectives.
3 different perspectives, yeah.
I
The
agree
third
that
one- the last
Kylo
one's the
Ren
real
would have
one,
had a
though.
different perspective where it's like, oh, my uncle's trying to kill me because I had a scary thought, and then Luke's like devastated because he's like, I had this thought and now he thinks I'm against him.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of it
I
being
don't remember
like,
what the third one was. The real one.
Yeah, the third one was the mixed.
Yeah, I think
Where he doesn't look evil and he's just kind of like, it's the same. Yeah, it's the
the
third
evil
one's the mixed
face one. That was hilarious.
He's like gonna
Because
freaking hack
if you
him in
think
half.
about it, you're a little kid and your uncle would. He's like,
The
I'm
different
gonna freaking
perspectives
kill
make
you.
sense.
It makes sense.
I don't know, but I mean, so I like the idea that like it was his fault that this whole thing started. Like, what if he had not done that? Kylo Ren may have resisted the dark side. May have been like, oh well, I've got my Uncle Luke, I've got my mother and my father to guide me and help me in this. They're not going to steer me wrong.
And then,
But as soon as like Luke's there, like with his lightsaber, he's like, oh my gosh, this guy's going to kill me for even just having a single thought.
they
of
should
like,
have delved into that more.
and that's
not
what
just
caused the evil to actually happen. Not because he was evil, but because of something that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was the reason that he went to the dark side, because of this moment. And if he had not done that, he wouldn't even, you know what I'm saying?
I also think that
Maybe it was inevitable, but you know.
maybe delve into more of what happened before The Force Awakens a little bit, kind of how the Jedi Temple fell. It might make you care for
I'd like to see
and
more of
figure
that.
out more what happened, and not just depend on us to read comic books to
Yeah.
find out.
So many people die and not die in this. Like, fake die.
That's pretty annoying. Chewie,
C-3PO in some ways.
C-
I like
C-3PO
I like
was kind of-
C-3PO's thing
also like what?
pretty well. I mean, it's a lot of.
I think
he
it's
has a lot
I think it's
to
really
do.
interesting that he can't read Sith text.
He can't speak it out
Yeah,
loud.
he can read it, but
It's
he can't
kind of
say
like
it.
it's like
kinda
Lord of the
interesting.
Rings. It's like the dark tongue. It's like the dark elvish
Kind of makes
tongue.
it's kind of cool.
The words I will not utter here.
Zori
Morgul or
Bliss is kind of a pointless character.
Yep. There's like I said, I mentioned a lot.
Is that just a character for J.J. Abrams just to pay one of his friends?
Yeah, maybe.
Like, hey, you were in this.
Him and Dominic Monaghan.
Exactly.
It's like, you can be in this too.
At the premiere, he said, "My name is Blink and You'll Miss Me."
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it.
He has like 2 lines, maybe.
Yeah. I think he's one of the guys who was like, "Why don't we do the Holdo maneuver?"
Why don't we do the Holdo? Oh yeah, I love that.
That'll never happen. That was a 1 in a million.
That was
shot.
a 1 in a million shot. Was it?
Pretty sure
Can
it
we
was.
try? Can we line up like 50 ships and
It's
try it
worth
each time?
It's worth a try.
I feel like we've got a bunch of ships we could try it with. I mean,
Would that work into like a planet? Not to break up the planet, but to like
maybe.
Then
He's flying into that cube.
just have a ship
Destroy
go
that
straight
freaking
into
cube.
Exegol.
Just like I said, get a Hammerhead Corvette and do it, man. Let's got that big
dumb.
ram on there. I don't know, something. Okay.
I think some of my
Sorry, go
least
ahead.
favorite things about Star Wars though is like when it gets super magical and like it just explained be like it's because of the Force. I don't like that. I like
cut in Harrison Ford saying that's not how the Force
Exactly.
works. For
When you
every,
think
most
about-
of the stuff in this movie.
when you think about Star Wars, I think of I mean even the prequels do it a little bit more. It's more
Sure.
like
Well, I think the prequels are a natural upgrade because it's not really an upgrade from the original. It's a downgrade happens in moving into
Yes.
because you're at the height of the Jedi.
Yes.
So obviously they're going to be really good at fighting compared to what you see.
And then
obviously they're going to have way more force powers than Luke and Darth Vader show.
yes.
So obviously when they get wiped out, everything is dropped down and everyone's just kind of like, well, I don't know what
It's
I'm
just
doing
the Rise
here.
of Skywalker is like everything's 211. It's
And
like
yeah, so once you
1,000
go,
starships,
everything's
it's
still-
all the Jedi, all the Sith. It's
Everything
calm
should
down.
still be dropped down, like, because Luke didn't, like, the Jedi Temple didn't work, so no one else really knows. So it's only him and maybe Leia, I guess.
And also,
So it should be, and I guess Kylo Ren. So it makes sense he's got power, but all of a sudden, the power levels are like up here. It's like, what?
Also,
What?
George Lucas even said there cannot be more than 2 Sith at a time.
It's because that's the Sith creed.
Yes.
It's similar to the Mandalorian thing, but it's because it's like a weird poem or something with it. I can't remember, but
It's
it's
like a
because
rhymes.
that's the choice that the Sith made.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason,
I think it was
they'd
because
be,
there's
like
a
destroying
definite
each other.
no afterlife for the Sith.
Well,
That's why they're
they just
always
wanna
trying
live
to
as long
cheat
as they
death.
can, or something like that.
Yeah.
'Cause you've
Also,
never seen your red Force ghost. That's all
I got a
know.
question. Is Rey and Kylo Ren technically related now?
No, I don't think so.
So, Palpatine did not create Anakin.
I don't know. I don't know if that's said yet.
Because if he did, then he's technically related. It's another
but that's
sibling
just
kiss.
through the maybe that's just through the Force though, not through
I know,
biology.
I'm just thinking about that.
That's spiritually, not biology.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Okay, I think we should
And I'm not done talking about
cut.
it, though.
We're not gonna, and we're like 30 minutes, so it's gonna be about 2 hours and plus maybe this episode.
Are we
So-
cutting or like are we just ending?
What do you mean cutting?
Like, are we taking a break? Or
I think I mean, unless you got something. What else do you want to talk about?
Are we taking a break and then doing something else, or are we just ending?
I mean, I assume that's the end. Unless,
Okay, I was
was
just
there
curious.
something else you want to do?
No, I was just curious.
It's gonna be super long,
That's fine.
so I think we should just.
Star Wars is a
I
mess
have a
right
lot
now.
to
I want
yeah.
them to fix it.
I mean, so how do
I
you feel
think
about?
the Mandalorian's trying to fix what they messed
Yeah.
up?
So I guess my previous question: how do you feel about? Does this feel like a? And I've said it before. I was like, I don't know of any way they're gonna make a satisfactory ending to the whole saga, and
They won't.
I was right.
They never will.
And I could argue,
I think the future
don't know.
Star Wars, it would be better if they touched on things that didn't have to do with main characters.
of the new series.
I think that's the reason I like Rogue One so much, is because it's not taking a definitive character that we know and love and making decisions with them.
Darth Vader, Tarkin,
I mean, but it's not like
small characters.
Yeah, it's not taking like
Well,
the
Darth Vader's not a
main
small character.
characters, like saying
Things that
like,
don't matter.
Luke and then like let's do something
Sure.
crazy and mess it up.
Sure.
Rogue One could have been a terrible movie and it still wouldn't have harmed the other movies.
Yeah.
I think they should do more. I mean, I'm kind of excited to see what they do if they have
I think
an
what
original story, go like the Old Republic or something, where I don't have
I was gonna say.
too much knowledge of it.
I think the biggest part is just the way it's affecting. They're using the older characters. Because that's where you're going to be like, whoa, that's not what
It's
Luke
like
does.
if in
Whoa,
like-
you killed off Han?
I
Leia's
don't.
not
Let's
a
say
Jedi.
it's been
Yeah,
like.
it's
Let's say
different
in
stuff.
15 years they decide to make Avengers Endgame and bring Iron Man back,
Avengers. Well, Endgame already happened.
Well, like another one
Okay.
where they're like, it's
10
30
years
30
later.
years has passed, and now this is our characters we know and love. And then Iron Man's not dead.
Or you have a scene with them. Yeah, I mean,
Exactly. And then
the old man
they
Iron
take,
Man.
Yeah, they take them all, and then they kill them all, and then they have these new characters, and then they destroy the story.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing like the old man. They're doing old man Star-Lord right now, aren't they? Old man Quill.
But
or
it's
something?
not like they're waiting 10 years to do it, and then these characters you know and love, they're
Right.
going to do something that's
It's just-
destroy their character.
I just don't know. A movie's made now connect to something that was made like 30 years ago. It's something like that. It's weird.
Yeah.
And try and make it like all fit together perfect.
I feel
really
like
well. It's like
I
whoa.
feel kind of depressed right now about Star Wars. It's kind of making me sad.
It is what it is.
I
Like
love-
I
I mean-
think maybe we're just too close, right? You're too close, and
I
you're
wanna take
too protective of it, and you're too like have too many opinions about it. I guess.
If I didn't
I'm
love
like,
Star Wars so much, The Last Jedi,
I would
be
probably
a
just
great
say-
movie for me.
It's whatever movie.
It's fine.
It's fine. I'll maybe watch it one more time, and then I'll die. As far as how many times I'll watch
it again
this.
and I'll die.
Yeah, I mean, it's just whatever. I don't know.
I have no interest to watch this movie again.
This is cool parts.
When it comes out, I'll just watch
I mean,
a YouTube video.
The best part maybe is the scene with
Han and
and Kylo Ren.
that's like a 1 minute video I could watch on
But-
YouTube.
But again, that's just him imagining it. So it's like him giving himself permission to be a good guy, and like it's not a real
It's like,
you know what I mean?
It's okay,
not like
Kylo.
it's for the audience to be like
Pat yourself on the
I can
back.
agree, but can we really?
Would it have been better if
Killed
like
so many
Han,
people.
It would have been better if Han they did a flashback to The Force Awakens and they looks at the camera and says, "It's okay if you kill me. I'll forgive
In
you."
the future, if you killed me, I'd be totally okay with it.
No,
I
it's
think
him as a
everybody-
little kid sitting.
I
in
think
the Falcon
anybody-
and just
yeah.
like, if you killed me one day, I think I'd forgive you.
I think anyone watching this right now, I think would agree with me. I think, hey kid,
I think
if you killed
I think
me,
that was a
it'd be
great
all right.
scene. It just doesn't make sense.
I should have died at Endor anyway. She just killed me. It's fine.
That's the way I'd sum up the movie. It looks great and it's a cool scene, but it just makes no sense.
Yeah, like he's remembering a scene, like, or what if it's just a nice little scene of like, I'll love you no matter what you do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you know,
Except if you kill
always,
me.
What if it was like, you always have to choose. You just got to choose to be a good person, and I'll love you no matter. Something like that. I'll love you no matter what. Like just making a good decision to be a good person. I don't know.
Except if you
Okay.
kill me, then I won't forgive you.
And no one else should either. And he looks right into the camera.
Looks at the camera.
And no one should ever forgive you.
Your mom killed herself to talk to you.
Yeah, and then she's like, wasn't it like
It's
if she
because-
becomes a Jedi, she had a premonition that if she becomes a Jedi, then her son will die or something, or like kill someone or turn evil. But then
She
she
had
doesn't become a Jedi, and all that stuff happens anyway.
Yep.
So I don't get it.
Doesn't make sense.
Great CG. It's great young Luke though.
That's why I
He
said
looked cool, and Billy Lord
sum up-
played the younger.
To sum up the Star
herself.
Wars stuff, looks great, makes no sense.
Looks cool. That scene when she's walking through the cube and it's the blue light and you can see her walking to
great.
it. It's cool.
Would you say that it's a hollow sequel trilogy?
It's a lot of pretty flashing lights, but there's no
Nothing.
through line, which I think is a lot of that what the original and even the prequels had, because they kind of
It's all
led
hype.
into it. It's that father
Style over
and son,
substance.
father and son, good versus evil story, and it kind of just got muddled in this. It's like, well, no, some people are good and some people are. I mean, I don't mind that gray
Style
stuff, but
over
it's like,
substance, Tyler.
I guess.
It is.
What have we learned from these movies?
Nothing.
Failure. That's the second one, anyway. I don't know.
That's all.
Anyway.
I set that to an hour.
Okay, that's it. We got to end. We'll talk about my trip later, maybe, if we
Unless
even
you
decide
wanna-
to talk
unless
about
you
it.
want to talk about it real fast.
No, I don't. I
Okay.
think when I'm be done.
We'll talk about it next week. Next week we'll be talking
Freaking-
best.
I got here at 7. It's like 10 o'clock.
Oh my gosh! It's almost
Well,
11.
we didn't start till then, but still.
Next week we'll be talking best and worst of 2019. So
Something
send
like that.
in yours, and we will read them.
Me send them in?
Everybody.
You send.
You need to send in. You
must.
your best and worst of 2019, and we'll do the
questions if you have them for that. Or
and
whatever.
Your most anticipated for 2020.
Yes, which will be the week after or so. We'll get around to it eventually. Maybe it might end up being in February, but we'll talk about it.
Anyway, we'll talk to you next week, and so long.
Solo long.
May the force be with you.
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
It's too weird now.
Oh,
I mean, it's just too much like, may the fourth be with... I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
May the force be with you.
What does it do? Yoda hands.
Let's clap.